riding down the high weirdness road, chasing every story nobody's told. Muppets in the backseat, vampires in tow. J.J. Vance on the high weirdness road. Cold case counties and abandoned towns. Something in the shadows keeps swirling round. CIA bots shouting, "Who killed Bill Cosby?" JJ just laughs and cranks the sound. Where the timeline's bend and the truth gets loud, and the moon looks wrong behind a wandering cloud. If the vampires strike, well, that's just how it goes. He's riding down the high weirdness road, where impossible things are the stories he's old. From hidden hollers on a foggy night to the America's wasteland, heartland. J.J. Vance on the high weirdness road. He's rolling down the high weirdness road, chasing every phantom the archives hold. Truth gets strange, but he won't let go. J.J. Vance on the high weirdness road. Yeah, J.J. Vance on the high weirdness road.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment.
Howdy, folks. Your host, Double J back here, coming at you live from my studio / home on the range. I'm a bison rancher now. From deep inside Big Sky Country in the great state of Montana. Here is Jonah leaving a comment. Jonah, you're backstage here, bud. Get with the program here, pal. Good to see you, though. Jimmy Bobby, yep, yes, sir. Yep. A lot to work out. Welcome back for your very first time, sir. Anyhow, once again, folks of the interwebs, your host of Operation GCD, JJ Vance here, and perhaps most notably, not the vice president. No bombs here, folks. I swear, do not vote for me. 2028, I'll be too busy doing some of that vampire hunting. Anyhow, you're damn right them bisons don't wrangle themselves, sir. Anyhow, we'll be your pilot and navigator for tonight's shenanigan-infused journey into the mind of this particular garbage can dude. This one right here, this guy. And I'm not going to lie to you folks of the interwebs. Got a real barn burner on deck for y'all tonight. An occult and or esoteric review of the 1990 cinematic masterpiece to mediocrity, The Godfather Part 3. That is indeed born out of a union of the CIA, the Colombo crime family, and none other than the devil himself, Bob Cocaine Evans. brings us this Godfather series in league with all of Bob Cocaine Evans Muppets, primarily of a Coppola variety. So someone fucking fed the Coppolas after midnight. They're everywhere in this film. Anyhow, thanks for joining me here tonight, folks of the interwebs, to get a little GCD. Got a real barn burner of a panel here on deck for y'all tonight, including the man whose names I assure you is a redacted name in the Epstein files, Troublemaker Jonah. Welcome back to Operation GCD, sir, for your very first time.
Yeah, I mean, so before we get started, I mean, I'm gonna talk a lot of shit on, the location in this one here. So for everyone paying attention, remember, as I talk shit, I have a right, because I am confirmed. I am, fuck that holy see, and the bunch of fucking people who can't even read their own fucking book. But
are you are you on assignment again to another location?
No. Look at me. 1988, bro. My first Holy Communion.
Is that communion?
Yeah, my
communion.
first communion
Right,
photo.
fair enough.
It's like the only childhood photo I have for some reason, but fuck it, I'll throw it up there.
Yeah.
Look at me.
So I'm sure somewhere I have a photo of my Mormon baptism at the age of 8. I think that's a similar kind of function as communion, right?
Yeah, and they got the fucking wine glass and the grapes on there because the priest wants to fuck the children. But I mean, what?
Well, you'll have that. They keep the dildos and the strap-ons in the back. Huh?
To be honest with you, I'm coming to the conclusion that a lot of those sex allegations, especially with the priest, a lot of that is just fucking money laundering. And I don't think it nearly as much went on as they fucking said. Is you actually look into the whole fucking thing? Oh yeah.
Well, your comment couldn't be more appropriate for tonight's film. So
tell me he wasn't gonna fuck his sister there right after they
absolutely looking at. He was definitely gonna. It was his cousin, but yeah, they were.
No, I'm talking Michael Corleone. No, I'm talking Michael Corleone.
Oh, Michael Corleone. Well, they have that.
And then
they already have that relations, right? They already have that. They already imply that they've been banging. That's what I was getting. There's a heavy dose of incest. Not that I can really judge. I mean, I'm a product of many generations of incest. A lot of cousins.
That was weird. I'm not even gonna lie that that I watched the whole thing, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I found it really interesting because when they brought a Immobiliare, right? And that's an actual fucking
real world. Yeah, it's a real world corporation
that owned Watergate and built the Watergate.
That's right.
So the Nixon scandal was all the fucking Vatican. I didn't realize that they brought that
a lot about these subjects, not the incest, but the Italian mafia.
Well, he is Italian. I mean, after watching this movie,
is that an Italian thing? Is incest an Italian thing? Maybe I'm not hip to these things. Maybe that's why it's in the film. There is a heavy incest element to the film.
Wait, that's the Sicilian. Sicilian.
They kind of. Oh, it's Sicilian. I got you. All right.
That's why they all have the black hair down there. I mean, don't believe Dennis Hopper in True Romance. It's not because they all fucked eggplants. Wait, wrong movie.
I don't know about that, dude. I don't know. We'll call it anything inclusive. But Phil Z, secret agent of the Dewey Decimal System, sir. Welcome back to Operation GCD for your very first time.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for joining me to get a little GCD, sir. I look forward to discussing this film. You're a man with a lot of knowledge in this mafioso worlds and histories, and this one it really toes the line, not only just over gross amounts of incest and implied incest and overtly incest, a lot of incest. And this is coming from a man who I'm utterly shocked I don't have web feet and recessed chin line and a 70 IQ due to all of my products of incest. But anyhow, it's the toes the line of reality kind of reflecting fiction, reflecting reality around all of this, almost all the storylines in this film, I feel like.
Yeah, and yet it manages, I mean, it's considered the least popular of the Godfather movies, but I mean, if people look past Robert Duvall not being in it, being replaced by George Hamilton, if you ignore the Sofia Coppola's, her acting being kind of,
lack thereof.
Yeah, she's a better director than an actress, but I think it's a good movie. It's I was actually watching one of the redone ones. What was it? The Coda, the death of Michael Corleone, which was it was kind of like redone by Coppola within the past handful of years. Took a few minutes out. They said kind of made it a little bit I guess they just made it, just reorganize certain scenes where it kind of just put them together in a better way.
So this was a Francis Ford Coppola producer's cut? Because he was the executive producer.
Well, there had already been a director's cut. There had already been like a extended version because the movie's like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, they got to squeeze as much revenue as they can out of this franchise, Phil.
I didn't even watch the whole fucking thing.
It is technically the shortest because the first one is just shy of 3 hours. The second one is almost 3.5 hours. And the third one's about like 245.
This is my favorite Godfather. I hadn't seen the Godfathers. I knew about all the actual real world frauds and money laundering, Cocaine Bob Evans and his boss, Charles Bluedhorn, who's Michael Corleone's character in this film is largely based off of Charles Bluedhorn's real world activities with the real estate agency of the Vatican Bank, bailing out the Vatican Bank, etc., which is what we see play out. But I was familiar with all that before I'd seen any of this film. So when I watched this film, I was like, what the fuck? They really went hardcore in the paint as far as putting all this shit in this film.
Yeah, but that was all in the news already.
No, it was, but I'm just saying, but no one really knew that was Charles. Like, they put it all as Michael Corleone, but that was really, you could just call it Charles Bluedhorn.
Yeah, well, at one point, so they after the second one was done, and after how the second one did, so well between Academy Awards and also box office, they were Paramount was desperate to do a third. Coppola's like, I'm fucking done. Like, he didn't want to do another one, probably because of the clashing with Evans in the past and all these things. And Evans wasn't in the third one, wasn't really involved because at that point he was out of Paramount and, it was more of an independent.
Well,
he might have been, don't get me wrong. I mean, his presence is there.
I think they had to push him out, right? It was the whole Roy Reagan murder was happening right there doing filming.
It was poison. And to be honest, by that point, he was already working on what would become the Two Jakes, which was a shit show with Robert Towne and Nicholson. But
we see a lot of the same characters, though. That's what I'm saying. Even though Bob's not directly involved in this film, I think he kind of passes the reins to Francis Ford Coppola's underling to be the executive producer. And we still see everyone in the film as being the products of Cocaine Bob's, machinery.
Yeah,
be it Eli Wallach, be it.
You got George Hamilton, who's almost his doppelganger to a degree.
No, that is there you go, sir. That is Cocaine Bob. That is the George Hamilton with the famous character. He's always playing with the tan skin and slick back hair. He says that's to honor his friend Bob. Cocaine Bob. They came up in Hollywood together.
My question for you is, with this one, did they burn fucking, good old Henry Kissinger, his Bob Evans' buddy, because they put a lot of Gladio shit into this one. So
I think so.
It was a backhanded burn of it. Coppola being like, hey, this is the shit that's going on, but we're not going to come out and say that he's the one behind it.
I think so, because Coppola was in the know a lot of things within Bluedhorn's enterprise because he did all his filming on Bluedhorn property over the years. And a man who knows a lot about Gladio right here, the doctor of Gladio, if you will, Dr. Inferno, welcome back to Operation GCD, sir, for your very first time. Are you muted, sir?
No, I'm good. For the first time, yes. Ready to blast off.
Ever.
Ready to get those.
Never been here, dude. First time ever.
Never been here. Never. Ever.
Hey, speaking of that, hold that thought, sir. Speaking of folks who've never been here before and here for the first time, it might as well be. They don't ever learn nothing.
Roy Raiden.
RR channel, good to see you, Muppet. You're on time, and I'm happy to see
that.
Wait.
You don't have to report RR is Roy Raiden, bro.
Holy shit, you're right, dude. Roy Raiden, that's blasphemous, Roy Raiden. How dare you, sir? Open your ear holes, learn something, Muppet. Tell your friends at Langley to go fuck themselves, your Muppet friends. Anyhow, Dr. Inferno, you did you pick up on any of this Gladio stuff here tonight? That seems like a throughput. Yeah,
quite a bit.
Seems pretty apparent of the film.
I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of think this is a misunderstood. This is kind of a misunderstood masterpiece in some regards. If you are parapolitical, now if you're like a cinephile,
you can't say that. There's way too much cousin fucking.
Well,
may as well be shot in Appalachia, right, Doc?
It's interesting you say. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because
but so is Trump, right?
At the beginning scene, there was like this weird kind of dialogue between Andy Garcia and one of the female characters, where he said, "When I was like 14 and you were 8," like he was saying, "I had my eye on you."
That's so later in the show.
Creepy.
That's when he
well,
goes
I
up
mean,
with the
you gotta
show.
think it's creepy when she's the director. She could have cut that shit out.
That was creepy. I mean, I didn't expect to even hear that. I mean, I'd watched Godfather 3, a long time ago, and I didn't catch that.
What's more
But
creepy is
Okay,
when
so
he's
you
fucking
rewatched
behind
it?
her making the fucking dough with her, and then they start making out. What the fuck? That's when I turned that movie off. Fuck off. I ain't watching no cousin fuck. I mean,
That was
goddamn.
weird.
If I want to watch cousin fucking, I can go straight to Pornhub, not fucking Godfather 3.
I'm saying you can just watch, dude. You can just watch anything out of Appalachia, dude. That's all cousin fuck.
And I have to echo Phil's assessment that Sofia Coppola is a better director than she is an actress, because she's not chewing up any screen time in this one.
No,
I don't disagree. So
definitely
you'd
not.
seen this film before, and then you'd seen it again recently, Doc. And then
Recently,
is this your
yeah.
favorite? Is this your favorite Godfather?
No,
now
it's
you've
not.
rewatched
It's not my. It's not my favorite, but like I said, it is a truth bomb.
It is indeed. Speaking of truth bombs, we got
Yeah.
ourselves one more panelist here this evening. Mr. Clint Eastwood, the man with no name. Thanks for joining me here tonight to get a little GCD, sir, for your very first time.
Whoa, first time.
Hey, congratulations.
He still hasn't had his first time.
Whoa, easy now. Let's hold back.
Well, I am your father, Jonah.
Brother. That's,
Me and your
I'm
mother.
fucking older than you.
coming out
I'm
fiery,
older
dude.
than you. I know, speaking of which, I was working with one of my colleagues. I was like, yeah, no, they're asking how old I was. I was like, well, I was born in the 70s. She's like, yeah, so was my grandmother. I was like, okay, cool.
Well, Clint, was this? You've seen the Godfather series of films before, haven't you? Is this the first time you've seen them, or have you seen them before?
Yeah, I've seen him. I definitely was
But Clint,
hyped
have
up
you
to
watched
see the
The
part
Offer?
about The Offer. What?
Have you
Yeah,
watched
that's a
The
good one.
Offer?
It's about the making
Maybe.
of the Godfather, the first one.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got
yeah.
the first 6 episodes down. We did a whole breakdown, the 3 of us on the top.
Yeah, that was
Sure.
a good series.
I think we felt it. Did we ever finish that out? I feel like we needed
No,
to
we
finish.
didn't.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah, I
finish
got
it.
injured. No, you're right. We'll have to get back to you on that one. I'll get my Muppets on. I'll my Muppets contact your Muppets.
Okay.
Speaking of Muppets, there's a lot of Muppet stuff going on in this film of all varieties. That's what I said. I watched this. I'd already been familiar with a lot of this hood rat shit we see depicted in the film. And one thing that really jumped out to me as well that I was kind of familiar with upon my first viewing of this film a couple years ago, and was more evident even when I just rewatched it yesterday's, is the idea that Andy Garcia, Mr. He's real hardcore tough dude. 5 seconds of the film, he's getting real tough about life. And, he's tough. He's Sonny Corleone's son, right? Bastard child, right? Well, Sonny
He's the one
Franchise, the underboss of the Colombo crime family.
That's what makes the incest okay. He's the bastard, so he's not really the family.
Well, that
He's the one that
Michael
pulled the Mike
Franchise, he's
Tyson.
the bastard son of Stanley Franchise.
Yes,
He lived
he
the
is.
first, I believe, 16 years of his life with a different last name, kind of like Vincent Mancini in this film.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, speaking
Yeah,
of bastard children, can I just go right into it? Because, I mean, with the movie, you got Mario Puzo. He also wrote, I think it was called The Family. But then when the fucking Corleone first meets with the people in the Vatican, he starts running on and he's like, it's the fucking Borgias all over again. And then his fucking nephew comes running out, which is just a whole fucking toss to his own book. But the Borgias were obviously for all these people that buy into the Roman Catholic, and not me, maybe that kid there, but not me. But all these people that buy into this Roman Catholic shit, Cesare Borgia is who you think is Jesus Christ because it's just a Leonardo da Vinci poster of a fucking incest inbred motherfucker.
Well, this is one of my favorite Godfather films, but on and above the hood rat shit of real life that's depicted in the film. We also get an introduction to Kamala Harris. Who do you think Kamala Harris blew to get her boyfriend Willie Brown on this film? That's my question.
Frank, how are you? Thank you very much for the contribution of the board swing. And we need your help on Sam Wallace's candidacy for judgeship. We always can use a good judge. Thank you. Angela.
Who did Kamala Harris blow to get Willie Brown in this film? That was her boyfriend.
Montel Williams.
Office of Naval Intelligence Lieutenant Commander of the Navy, Montel Williams. Yeah, he's 0-9. He was 0-9 when he did that show. When he was ostensibly banging old Kamala Harris.
He was also told not to get on the plane on September 11th, but there was no foreknowledge.
Who told him that? The Office of Naval Intelligence? His boss? I bet he knows Steve Bannon, dude. I don't know if they were in the same place at the same time, but both lieutenant commanders in the Office of Naval Intelligence at the same time. I have to imagine they probably know each other.
I mean, the child raffles are same as like a stockyard in Montana,
right?
I mean, I'm
sure what a weird conversation! What a weird environment right there. You'd have Montel Williams, Steve Bannon, Kamala Harris, dude, hanging out. Maybe Al Pacino, dude.
Jack Nicholson.
Kamala's got her secret police force there.
Yeah, dude. Henry Kissinger, dude. Cocaine Bob's in the house, dude, making an appearance. I thought the strangest scene in this film, though, was the musical number by the star of the film, Mr. Al Pacino. That was weird, the song and dance number they mixed in there.
Wow!
Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do.
What's my name?
Dunkachino.
It's a whole new game.
Dunkachino.
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend. Attica, hoo-ah, lottie light. This whole trial is out of sight. They pull me back in with hazelnut too. Caramel swirl, I know it was you. Everyone wants my Dunkachino. Can't get enough of my Dunkachino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkachino. What's my name?
Dunkachino.
Dunkachino.
I feel like that's obviously not from tonight's film, but it is the Night Star, and I think it encapsulates the thought process behind making this film. It was just a commercial money grab, in my opinion, much like whatever the fuck, whatever indebtedness that Al Pacino had, that he would accept whatever godforsaken amount of money to do that. I have no idea, but clearly he was in need.
Did he really accept any money, or was it just say, like, hey, Al, we got this video of you. We really need you to push some Dunkin' Donuts.
You might be onto something, dude. You might be onto something.
That was a direct-to-DVD phase in Al Pacino's life.
What movie was that from? I don't even know what movie that's from. To be
wasn't that Jack and Jill? Wasn't that the Adam Sandler?
Oh, that's right. I knew it was an Adam Sandler one. I was thinking it was the one with the remote, though, but that's Christopher Walken in that one. You're right.
Yeah, that was.
He must have been out of money too in the 2000s.
I heard Jack and Jill because I think there was an issue.
Christopher Walken was great as Frank White.
An accountant who read off the money, and yes, Christopher Walken was great in King of New York.
King of New York,
but,
yeah.
Well, the communion,
I like
the communion role.
All the aliens, the Process Church film. What's that one?
Yeah, the communion.
Communion.
Whitley Strieber.
J.D. Vance's next book.
Right.
Yeah, after I seen that
title,
communion
right?
movie, I was like,
what
Jesus.
a weird title, dude. No, I think you were mentioned before, though, Phil. The production of this film was delayed for many years. They kept throwing money at it.
Yeah, Coppola didn't want to have anything to do with the part 3. Paramount was kind of chomping at the bit. I think so. Michael Eisner had supposedly either wrote a screenplay or was pushing one where Michael gets involved with the CIA. Charlie Bluthorn, had a screenplay that was being pushed. Then they had a collaboration between Puzo and Nicolas Gage, not Cage, but Gage, G-A-G-E,
right.
who was a known organized crime writer. And that kind of fell out. And then eventually they did get Coppola with, the money in the end, and kind of went from there. But yeah, they had different projects with, Michael getting used as CIA, probably based off of some of the stuff that came out of the church committee hearings and some of those.
Well, let's be honest, though, too. In 1990,
and the stuff that Bluthorn was involved in, right? Bluthorn's of a very Nazi-like origins. He has no known real past. He comes from Austria as a teenager to America in 1947. Strange time. Joins the brand new Air Force for like 8 years or something like that. Gets the citizenship, gets out, buys a tire company in Michigan that suddenly, within 8 more years, becomes one of the world's largest multi-million-dollar corporations, known as Gulf and Western Enterprise.
Sam Walton became the world's
very similar trajectory.
Right after joining them and quitting the military,
Slightly less mysterious Nazi origins, but same trajectory.
Well, you think about some of the people who in the end, like had movie studio connections or ownership between Bluthorn with Gulf and Western and Paramount, or Kirk Kerkorian with what was it, MGM, and Howard Hughes at one point, along with his government contracts, and it's kind of interesting.
And we see,
itself, but
that's a good point, sir. That's a good point. Thank you. And I think we see a very similar correlation with the film and some of the characters. We see the Pope, obviously, who's presumably gets poisoned, but we see that in real life. We see that in the film. We see Eli Wallach's character get poisoned in the film, and we presumably see Charles Bluthorn himself being poisoned in 1983 mysteriously and dying there in Ridgefield, my hometown of Ridgefield, Connecticut. He lived a couple miles down the road from us. In fact, Henry Kissinger, I believe, spoke at his funeral.
Well, just a quick parallel. So in terms of the poisoning, you had, even though I don't know how referenced he is, but Michele Sindona, he dies cyanide.
There you go. Are you in my brain hole, sir? Are you in my brain hole? Because that's what I was going to say right there. Go ahead, please.
And of course, he had ownership of the Franklin National Bank in Long Island and Franklin Square, which actually was connected to the Tisch family, who is in the Lowe's Corporation, and then eventually New York Giants ownership with some of their relations, and currently the police commissioner.
Yes, sir. And big donors at NYU, right? They're big financiers of NYU.
But isn't she also like the IDF or Unity 200, or is that the other one there? The one with the New York Police Department.
Well, I know there's been with the, previously with the police, there's been CIA like training. I don't know about IDF. It wouldn't surprise me. I know they've infiltrated a lot of police departments in terms of training and,
I mean, well, China has the outright police departments here in Canada, so I mean, why wouldn't Israel, right? They are each other's best ally, even though American media.
Sir, Israel would never do such a thing. Israel, they would never violate international laws. They would never terrorize the humanity.
Well, hey, I can piss on Israel all day long, but if we're gonna start pissing on people who are dirty as fuck, you can't get any fucking dirtier than this Roman bullshit. So
I don't disagree, dude. And the film, that's a good point, sir. That's a good segue, because the film opens up with Michael Corleone, Dunkachino's character, getting awarded the Golden Diddler Award from the Vatican, right? I think that's the official title.
The Order of Saint Sebastian. I was gonna look into that, but I got pulled over by like 4 fucking government agencies today, and they took a bunch of my time, so I didn't really get to look into that order.
I think the Order of Saint Sebastian is probably a stand-in for the Knights of Malta. That's primarily what it parallels, and it looks just like the Knights of Malta. And the Knights of Malta was probably used by the P2 Lodge to funnel a lot of the mafia money and a lot of the drug money, and to also support a lot of anti-communist type of activity that Michele Sindona was actually involved in.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Doc, the P2 propaganda duo, the Franklin National scandal, Roberto Calvi, and Licio Gelli here, and of course,
Licio Gelli, the guy who played both sides during World War II. Gotta love him.
He played all sides, dude. He had every side, dude. And he's a master of wizard. But
they were connected to the Stella Matertina Lodge. Stella Matertina.
I'm not familiar with that. You have to describe that. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, the one in England. That's. Well, that had
so
to do.
They're out of Blue Lodge. Is that Blue Lodge Freemasonry? What are we talking about?
No, that's
give me a name.
But that's the part about the Roberto Calvi in the movie.
Yeah, because we see him hung at they show him a little bit kind of at the end of this film. We see the Calvi banker guy for the Vatican Bank being hung in not the Hangman's New style situation Roberto Calvi was found in, right? But on the Blackfriars Bridge there in the city of London, right? The Vatican-owned city of London.
What's interesting about the Blackfriars thing is that they refer to themselves, Licio Gelli referred to himself as the Blackfriars, so that's why a lot of people suspect the whole hanging had a Masonic element to it, which is detested by a lot of people, but I tend to agree because not only that, they found bricks in his pocket, they also found his genitals defiled And they also found him strangled before he ever was, before he ever was hung. In addition to that, it's the water portion that's also keys to a Masonic influence because, well, one of the most famous cases, William Morgan, he was found also like drowned, and this is also reflected by the Skull and Bones. They did a similar thing in the Good Shepherd. So I think all points to a Masonic death.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one more part about Roberto Kelvy, and I think it's the first degree oath that says,
Yeah, the first degree.
swear to have your throat yanked, tongue torn out, and then what does it go? When the ebb and flow tides twice in a day of the ocean or whatever, or the sea, and the body was hanged on the bridge in a spot where at low tide the water was at his feet, and at high tide it was just below his neck, and that's a Masonic symbol.
Drowning is typically like a Masonic execution.
I mean, the two tide reference is right in the first degree.
Yeah, you're right.
So we see the reflection of this in the film. It starts off in '79, kind of at the eruption of the Vatican bank scandal situations really coming to the surface. This is a few years after the initial domino, which would fall in that, which is the collapse of the Franklin National Bank, which again, Charles Bluedorn was involved in all these things. That's Cocaine Bob's boss, the owner.
Before that, though, too, there was still the Ambrosiano scandal, which was before the Franklin National, but that's outside the U.S.
I thought that was after. I thought that was what Calvi gets charged for in 1980. No.
And then before Calvi, there was another guy that what the fuck was his name now? And then there was also Marcinkus there, but there was shit before the Franklin National that was located in the South America area. Like I say,
well, that's interesting because we do get a Marcinkus type character in the film. I wanted to discuss him in a minute, but we do see a lot of the reflections of that Vatican bank scandal, though, right? In the film, when we see, I got a clip for it here. Hold on.
Michael Corleone. I have something special for our host.
We see the Frank Sinatra character introducing Michael Corleone there. We see George Hamilton, the Bob Cocaine Evans stand-in, his buddy there, George
Frank
Hamilton.
Sinatra hated the Godfather films.
Because that is supposed to be him, right? Like they were making fun of him, kind of, right?
Yes.
Which they show in The Author too, when they show Sinatra like threatening to kick Puzo's ass, and he didn't want what's his name, Al Martino, who played Johnny Fontaine, to take that role.
But he kind of weaseled his way in too, didn't he? Because there was another guy that Vic Morrow they selected.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I know who you're talking about. It was Vic Damone.
Vic Damone. There we go. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And he apparently got kind of booted out of the role because this Martino fella pitched to his little mob boss buddy. His apparently he was close with one of the mob bosses whose name is escaping my brain hole at the moment, but you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, considering how much mafia involvement there is with that, well, I think pressure.
That's a good point too, because I sent you a message earlier on Twixter relative to Eddie Vedder and Mo Green's son, Rocco there.
Mark Rocco, yeah.
Mo Green was an actual from the first film. He was an actual mobster. Like there was a few real world mobsters in that film.
Yeah, he was Winter. He was originally Winter Hill Gang, and after the destructive McLean-McLaughlin War of the '60s, which led probably at least 50, 60 mobsters were killed, and he was brought in on murder charges at one point. He left, went to the West Coast, but then surprisingly was back within a decade to help on. He was shooting The Friends of Eddie Coyle, where a lot of the people on set were guys from Southie and Winter Hill, and he still flexed that sort of connections to kind of get those guys, kind of like in Godfather, where you had guys like what's his name, Lenny Montana, who was with the Columbos, and later on becomes Luca Brasi, and you had Columbos all over the set. I said, I guarantee.
And he was a made guy, right? Like he was a made dude, right?
I know his son was. I know his son actually was out with the LA mob. But if he wasn't, he was as close as you can get. Former wrestler. I mean, he was definitely kind of straddled that line between showbiz and organized crime.
Yeah, we do see a lot of that organized crime and the Vatican, and I guess really showbiz throughout all the Godfather series and the casinos and stuff. But in this one, Corleone's he says he's gone legitimate. He's gotten rid of all those things, and he's basically been asked to bail out the Vatican Bank. And I do think Charles Bluedorn did this. I think this is part of those dealings, and we can see where the SEC was investigating Bluedorn at this very same time.
Well, I think a lot of that is just washing money back to the bank. Because if you start looking into the Lateran Pacts and then you look into Nogaro, man, they had more fucking money, and they still have more money than you could ever shake a stick at. But then they always seem to be broke and need fucking people to keep pushing it back to Rome. You know what I mean? They have more fucking...
Well, I don't disagree, because it's at the same time here shortly thereafter we see BCCI fall, which is a joint CIA Vatican Bank owned operation, right?
And that Nogaro is like, I don't know if any of you guys pay too much attention about Nogaro or know who he is.
No.
He's the one. So if you look up the Lateran Pacts in Nogaro is the banker who he literally lived off like $2,000 a day, but he's the one who started the Immobiliare. He started all that shit from 1920s through the 60s. Even Bocelli, who was pious during World War II, he was at first like, yeah, we need to get rid of him because he only personally meets with the Pope prior to. But he's the one who started all the fucking real estate holdings, all of their stock holdings. He started the IOR. He's the one who signed the Lateran Pacts with fucking Benito Mussolini. So he basically the one who set it up after fucking the Bonaparte III went in and kind of took all their wealth in this late 1800s. So that's a really kind of like all that shit where the Vatican gets set up as a sovereign state within the modern is all under Nogaro and I think it was Pius X. 1929 Lateran Pacts, Lateran Treaty. So there's three of them, three treaties in one.
This is before Vatican II, is what you're saying.
1929 with Benito Mussolini.
Right.
Yeah, Vatican II, I think, was 62.
46. Or no, yeah, it was later. I was thinking something else. There's a bunch of shit that went on right then.
Some major upheaval points within the Vatican system just in the last century, before the ones we see in tonight's film at the end of the 1970s, where suddenly the Pope dies, the new Pope, he starts investigating the Vatican bank scandal, and we see again that these characters of the film, Michael Corleone and gang, are considered going to be found out for the connections of the new Pope looking into it because of all the hood rat shit money.
Yeah, and they were going to, so basically in the real story, they're going to kick the Secretary of State of the Vatican out of fucking Vatican and send him back to Naples, I think it was.
Send him back to the moon, dude. Get him out of here.
His name was Baggio or something like that. So they're going to send him back, and he's the one who becomes the interim pope in between. Before John Paul II, no one knew of it, and then Baggio is the one who fucking holds the champagne celebration after they push that conclave through. So Baggio had been. Baggio was the one who was so John Paul I discovered that Baggio was a fucking Freemason, and that basically means they're excommunicated, but they don't actually follow through with that, so they're gonna send them back to Gerald Hall. Like the Antichrist shit goes, if you're talking Roman Catholic Antichrist shit, it goes all the way. Like so if no one's gonna talk about Sylvester,
read the two Babylons.
No, fuck with the two Babylons.
Third Babylon, dude, because this is Godfather.
Fuck the two Babylons. All I need to talk about is Sylvester 2. Not the Borgias.
Sylvester 2, Rocky 2, okay, or Rambo 2.
No, Sylvester 2 was the one that was Pope from 999 through 1002. Again, I'm confirmed. I've got my first communion. I know all that shit. So Sylvester's the first one who was kind of raised in the Muslim empire, the Muslim caliphate at the time. He came in, he actually had what they call a brazen head, which is a decapitated head where they fucking dose it in gold and then they put a gold bar under the tongue and he fucking talks to it and it talks back to him. And that's the fucking Pope from 999 to 1002.
Huh.
That sounds like some Antichrist shit. The shit you just described.
No. Well, it's also in the Book of Jasher.
Circus.
No, so they talk about how to create a book in the Book of Jasher, which is from the Old Testament, but it's apocrypha. So they talk
I've
about
heard some golden tablets before. I'm on
no.
Yeah.
So,
Joseph Smith was hanging out with
the
them.
one.
Yeah.
The Book of Jasher
I got
is
some
the one.
golden tablets to sell you.
The Book
Found
of
them in a
Jasher.
mound, sir. Found them in a mound. The Angel Moroni told me where to get them.
No, the Book of Jasher is the one
Angel
that
Macaroni.
it goes into the whole history of Nimrod, and it talks about Rebecca and
Yeah, we got
Isaiah.
that, dude. We got that in our golden plates too, dude. What's up? I'll raise you my golden plates. Your golden plates.
We can make the golden plate say whatever you want them to say.
There you go. Cleanse tracking. Oh shoot. So I do think we see a lot. This is one of the first scenes that stood out to me, though, in regards to the real world hood rat shit we see around the Vatican Bank as depicted in this film, and I don't think they're really shy about it. In many degrees, I think they're kind of celebrating it. Maybe I think in large part these Muppets think that like dying and for the sake of their missions of all this hood rat mob shit is somehow respectful. I've yet to understand how that is, but I do think that's their philosophy.
Did Gerald Hall
something about these shareholders? Good. I have a tendency to worry. We've increased our position substantially. And naturally, I worry.
Come along now, stop worrying. We have an agreement.
Good. How do you think I got this gray hair?
Mr. Corleone.
Little cocaine Bob humor there, if you will,
Wait,
with his buddy George Hamilton.
That takes me to what my next point was going to be. So you get this whole fucking organization who has a wholly canonical text. They want to say, well, in that text it says that usury is a mortal sin, yet they run a fucking bank. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking piece of shit scumbag.
Well, speaking of that bank, is that guy we see there, the Archbishop, supposed to be Paul Marcinkus?
Oh, Marcinkus was a good old American, man. Didn't he go to
from Cicero? He's from Cicero, Chicago.
Yeah, so was the guy in the film, right? The Archbishop in the film was depicted as being from New York City in the St. Patrick's Cathedral, but
he played fucking NCAA football though too, right? Because he's a big old dude. But the other one before Marcinkus from the New York who was completely into fucking all of that blacklist, and fucking was up FDR's ass saving the Vatican Bank was good old Spellman, and I still think he's probably related to Laura Spellman Rockefeller. That's the one from New York City. So I was kind of seeing more of Archbishop Spellman in the one in the movie. But
so they mashed them together then, right? Because I mean, Marcinkus was in charge of the Vatican Bank, though, right?
Yeah, and now he was also directly involved with the Genovese scandal in $72 that Nixon wouldn't investigate, where they had printed a bunch of fucking fraudulent bonds of stocks of like fucking $1 billion of fraudulent stocks that were depositing them in European banks. And then
that's what I was going to ask.
Someone decided to
ask about next.
So the reason why that was is because Michele Sindona actually had an early connection when Nixon was a lawyer in New York. And they were good friends with one another, and he was invited over as a dignitary over to various different American functions and political functions. So there was a deep connection with Nixon and Michele Sindona from a very.
Do you think they dunked donuts together?
Yeah, but it was big. It was Big Marty was his name from the Genovese, who was the one who was printing all that shit, though, right?
Well, Nixon's best friend was a member out of the Buffalo crime family. There, one Bebe the mobster for his name.
Rebozo.
There you go, sir. Baby Rebozo. Oh, the Martino guy I was thinking of before was the Buffalino crime family. Oh, God.
Fuck God.
Good to see you.
You wish you could, Jonah. We all know that. You got crush on me, buddy.
Hey, we all know.
I know you love me. I know you love me. That's why you talk shit about me all the time, because you really love me.
He's going in raw on pod.
What would you do without me, Jonah? Who'd you have to kick around, buddy?
Talk shit on Quinn.
With your steel toe Nazi boots, who would you have to kick around?
I believe you probably would talk shit on Clinton if you weren't here.
I just tease. I love you, Jonah. But without you, the world would be a lot darker place without you, Jonah. You bring so much love to the world.
Hey, I smile all the fucking time. I don't care about anyone else.
I know, and that's why we love you, because you're so unlovable.
The other day I was at work, and then the one guy that I work with was asking me something. I'm like, listen, you're not my mother, father, or child, so I don't give a fuck about you. He's like, that's a great outlook on life, but it's a little blunt.
Good attitude to have right there,
Yeah.
But you gave enough to tell him, so.
I had a friend die. I had one of my friends die, real like second closest friend. And I went and told my best friend that my second closest friend died. And my best friend and my second closest friend kind of had a little beef. And so my best friend said, why should I care about that guy dying? When I told him, hey, that other guy, the other friend of ours, he died. He's like, why should I care? And I'm like,
that's pretty harsh.
Why should you care?
Yeah.
Hey, Todd, look, you come on. You completely distract us from the movie. You get us completely off topic. We're having a great conversation about The Godfather, just like every other movie.
There you, sir.
No.
Hey, you're embarrassing yourself, you geriatric fuck!
Brandon!
2 things! You keep your liver-spotted hands off my beautiful mother. She's a saint. And then you sit down and you write Dale and Brennan a check for $10,000. Or I'm going to shove one of those fake hearing devices so far up your ass,
Brennan.
you can hear the sound of your small intestine as it produces shit.
That was a true story.
So that's what you want to do to me, huh, John?
I thought that was a fitting clip for the conversation that are going on.
I walked away, so I didn't see it, but yeah.
I'm just teasing. Sorry I'm late. Fuck, I sat here all day waiting for the show, and all of a sudden, fuck, I'm late.
First time ever. So, as far as this, these fake bonds, the propaganda due stuff, and that would lead up to the Vatican Bank, it's my understanding that Paul Marcinkus was a key figure in making sure the Vatican Bank, he was the head of it, purchased these fake bearer bonds that were being distributed by essentially the CIA and the mafia, right?
Yeah, I think it was Marcinkus who
and the Masons and the Masons and the Freemasons and the secret societies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a picture of
Can all chime in? I don't know if I have all these details, but that sounds familiar.
Yeah, here's the logo of the Stella Matutina Lodge. One of them.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's got the Maltese cross, 8-pointed star. Mentions
got a
the
Rubik's
Orient.
Cube in the middle, dude.
With the Orient, just like
a Rubik's Cube.
Well, the OTO Orient Grant. The
looks like someone to put some noodles in, some Chinese noodles or something, like some top ramen.
Oh, dude, I'd love some
when
Chinese noodles right about now. But
yeah, bowl.
In the news recently, with what was it? 22 people that were involved in some kind of criminal activity.
Seen that crazy Freemasons.
Yeah, the Grand
criminal
Orient.
Freemasons.
That's not
so they were in the news this last couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
about 8 of them.
Some malfeasance popping off there, huh?
They're still up to their old tricks. First time I heard of the P2 Lodge.
Reminiscent, though. That was very reminiscent of the P2 Lodge scandal, right?
Well,
Where we see popping off.
I want to make some comments about the P2 Lodge. The P2 Lodge is distinct from other Masonic lodge because it is a double lodge. It's something that was established, I think, by Mazzini. It was originally as to unify like all the kingdoms, the Piedmont, all the different kingdoms in Italy. So actually, a lot of people say that there was some collusion between the P2 Lodge and some other Masonic, and I'm not covering for Masons here, but I'm just simply saying the P2 Lodge was
You're not a Mason?
No, I'm
not.
You're
a Mason.
Well, said that Mazzini was inherited.
Are you Mormon? Are you Mormon? No.
Oh,
no.
And that's on your Mormon games.
Just checking.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that it was a distinct lodge. It's called P2 because it's a dual lodge. It's a hidden lodge. So the hidden lodge allowed a lot of the politicians, the mafiosos, to collude and basically meet together and also funnel money. Let me find the name of the
It was
guy. The
Licio
guy's
Jelly that was kind
is
of
it-
behind it, right? He was the big guy behind the
Yes,
lodge.
but he
that
wasn't
accurate?
he wasn't solely the person behind it. There was also a guy named Uberto Ortolani. He was the financial brains, basically. Jelly was the outer representative, and Umberto Ortolani was the financial backer who met with Calvi and all the rest of the people. And Marquinhos, interesting enough, and Marcinkus, I guess, is how you pronounce his name. Sorry for that, butchering the name. But he didn't ever meet with Calvi.
It's okay.
He never met with Calvi. But what's
He's a
interesting
Muppet.
is both him and Michel Sedona and also Marcinkus and Calvi both colluded together and had offshore accounts in Nassau, which is the Bahamas. And if you're wondering where I get this information, I get this information from a book called The Last Supper by Philip Willan, who is a British author who, in my opinion, is better than God's Banker because he actually covers a lot of the stuff that is glossed over by God's Banker and names.
Was there a burger element to this Last Supper?
French fries.
So Paul L. Williams, who did the Operation Gladio, he also has a pretty good book on the Vatican called Vatican
Puppet
Exposed.
Master.
I don't know.
I'm way behind. This is The Last Supper. What was the name? Who was the author?
Philip Willan.
Yep.
All right.
Willan. Yeah, it was a good one.
It is.
W-I-W-I
LLAN.
A-L-L-A-N. Thank you.
I mean, the book that
It's definitely not it.
Yeah, no, definitely not that guy. The book that when I thought of some of the stuff in regards to Godfather 3 was David Yallop's book In God's Name, which is goes into John Paul I's death and kind of the cover up with that. That was kind of like my first.
Killed by the Grey Wolves, right? Killed by the Grey Wolves, right?
Well, that was the first one.
Well, they were a big part of it because
first.
Well, Licio Jelly and Roberto Calvi had gone in the league with the taking Grey Wolves money too, hadn't they? The Grey Faction Communist Underground.
Who are the Grey Wolves? Operation Gladio figures.
Yes, they were a Turkish far right.
They were. Yeah, they were the ones who took the shot at fucking Pope John Paul II.
Were they involved with the SIS?
They took the shot at John Paul
They
II.
took the shot. Okay.
Were they involved with the
and
SIS?
then now he rides around with the fucking he rides around with the bulletproof cage now.
After that, okay, I remember that period. The Pope used to go speak in front of everybody, and then come out in the Pope
It's kind of
mobile.
like when the Libyans came to attack Doc Brown in Back to the Future films, right? He took their
Exactly
money.
like that. Exactly like that.
Now, this is a good point because Phil, you were just mentioning this as well that Paul Marcinkus is a very dark Muppet. He's a major suspect in the disappearance of this young girl from the Vatican City, right back in '83, right? Right around the same time a lot of these events are popping off.
Bullshit. There was no woman missing from the fucking Vatican City. It's all
never
fucking,
happened. There's no
it's all
ever
dudes.
died or gone missing.
It's all dudes. The entire city's dudes. There's no women in this.
Am I mistaken? Am I mistaken, or am I mistaken, or is the order officially known as the Propaganda Do?
Yes.
Duty.
That's because it's a dual lodge. Yes, propaganda.
Propaganda Dewey.
Like dose in Spanish.
I believe it's pronounced Dunkachino. I believe it's pronounced Dunkachino.
Dewey or some shit like that.
So this was a young girl that was living there in the Vatican, and she just went missing one day that no one seemed to care about, right? Is that kind of the story, Phil? Emmanuel
pretty much that.
Might be connected to the monster. Might be connected to the monster of Florence. There's some speculation about some of the Vatican killings was connected to a serial killer, which was kind of the Italian Zodiac called the Monster of Florence.
I'm unfamiliar with this monster. Is he what color is he?
Purple.
Blue.
Cookie Monster.
People eater. Purple people eater.
You gotta watch out for Cookie Monsters, sir.
Well, that's not even the most important question. The most important question is who was his father and what did he do?
You
are I love that.
You are
who was his father and what did he do?
If he was in the Vatican, he fucked his
We know
sister.
Michael Corleone's father and what he did, and that was old Marlon Brando there from the
No. Michael Corleone fucked his daughter. I mean, his sister. I mean, his cousin.
his cousin.
There's a lot of that going on here. There's a lot of that.
Right out the gates. This is not a great film. This film should not be like put on the top of the list. Al Pacino is no
Dunkachino.
Yeah, is no.
That's his real name. His birth name.
Al Pacino is no Marlon Brando. Okay, so he doesn't convey the same power.
Todd, I'm sorry, Todd. Did you see the director's cut of this film? You weren't here for Dunkachino. There's a new director's cut of the film.
I'm out.
Al Pacino! It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk. Dunkachino? Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new game. Dunkachino. You want creamy goodness?
Is that from that movie where he plays the devil? He's the devil right there, right? Monotony.
Stab my eyes out with the fork, please. No. That's horrible.
It's fucking terrible.
Kind of like Al Pacino's performance in this movie.
Al Pacino may have been the worst part of this film.
He really is. And then they drag this motherfucker out for 2 hours and 45 minutes of watching them dancing and singing. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's amore. That's boring as hell. Al Pacino sucks, but we're watching this crappy film. It's amore. Horrible. Whatever information they did convey about the mafia and the church was watered down by them dancing, eating cake and dancing the whole movie. But that's just my review.
Carlito Brigante. Are you Blenny Blanco?
Well, Jonah's talking like a Sicilian up in here.
Are you Blenny Blanco talking shit on fucking Carlito Brigante?
No comprende.
So we do see that no one's really held accountable in any of these matters. I mean, I've read all of these. I haven't read some of these books y'all mentioned. I'll definitely be checking some of those out there and put some links.
That one I said was Paul L. Williams. He probably did the best book on Operation Gladio. That one's called Vatican Exposed. He does a bunch of shit on it.
That's this Paul Williams one?
No, that's Paul Lewis from the New York Times there. This one, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good book. That's a good book.
Yeah. I haven't read it. I'll definitely check it out. But we see this, even the time frames for some of this, when the scandal is breaking, is what's interesting to me is the chronology of events, because we see Bluedorn mysteriously dies shortly after a lot of this stuff is hitting the surface, right? Like in the film, a lot of folks near the end are just dying, some of poisoning and whatnot, some getting shot. There's a couple laser attacks, I think. That was the different director's cut, the lasers, but. We see.
Yeah, but did he really die like Jeffrey Epstein and fucking MDCC?
Well, I mean, we can only hope he survived. Yeah, but and here in
all life is precious. Yeah.
Death, we see the scandal centers on some $1.4 billion in unsecured loans made in Latin American by Banco Ambrosiano, Italy's largest privately owned banking group.
Yeah, that was all through Panama too, which again, Panama would be all fucking CIA back then, especially because the USA still ran but at the same time, that's when you had the Isaias, so the 80s, and that I'm pretty sure the Isaias brothers were still fucking running that up through 99 when then they fucking came up to the USA and started selling the aborted fetuses. And then they paid out.
Luxembourg. Let's not forget Luxembourg and also Switzerland as well, where the Guild Jelly fled and
that's the key part.
Well, don't forget that the bank's standing army is the Swiss Guard.
Well,
don't forget the Rome's standing army is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Knights of Malta. The militia.
Have you ever seen the Swiss Guard? They're so hysterically funny.
Yeah, they're like the Buckingham Palace, but they're.
You mean the folks over there at the Vatican that? You mean the folks over there at the Vatican that employed one of the conspirators in the Abraham Lincoln assassination, one John Surratt?
Yeah, but they're allegedly trained like.
What do you mean? Yeah, but that's the Vatican.
Yeah, but
undermining
the liberty
groupie again.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying they look like a bunch of faggots, but they're all hard-ass motherfuckers, allegedly.
How dare you?
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
That's all the
9/11
Vatican knows how to
inside
do is usurp the
job,
liberty of
baby.
America. It's their number one end game, in my opinion.
That's all the fucking they've done since let's call it 322 when the fucking in-hoc signal Vince's. But you
Jesus.
still
That's all they've done since
still give
Jesus
credit
serves
to the people that still
America.
use that fucking saying. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if, considering how much money laundering the Vatican Bank was doing, you had in '84 the breakup of the Pizza Connection ring, which was the transnational heroin trafficking ring that was going from Sicily to pizza parlors across the U.S., including on Long Island, Queens, including one out in like the middle, like in some obscure area of Illinois that involved mafia bosses who were kind of already fighting for their lives against the
The Pizza Man was the Bill Maher movie.
But
isn't some of the Pizzagate connection?
No, but I'm saying it all ties in. The Pizza Man ties in. That movie ties into what you're talking about.
But interestingly enough, one of the prosecutors in the Pizza Connection case was Louis Free, who would be kind of a cover-up guy in a lot of scandals later on, including the Jerry Sandusky fallout. But that's a different discussion altogether. But I think, because I know Switzerland and I know Luxembourg, factored into a lot of the money laundering that was going on between this huge heroin trade. I think in the end, that case became just about the 24 mob guys they could get and kept the bankers and some of probably the higher ups out. You had fall guys. In this case, it was Sicilians.
One of the things that blew me away when I looked into that last night, Phil, real quick,
was it lasers?
Was that Robert Calvi, his murder-suicide after the $1.3 billion collapse of Bank Ambrosio. $1.3 billion. Can you imagine how much that is in today's money?
About
that's like $1 trillion. Isn't it $1 trillion?
About
5-time multiplier. $6 million. Okay, so it was a small bank. Jesus.
No, it's just dropping the bucket.
$1.3 billion just disappears, collapses.
That's how much the commies take every year. Sorry.
Roberto Calvi also was in debt of over $300 million, which is why he was trying to leverage a lot of his connections with Michelle Sindona, and which is why they were actually funneling money through a bank also called the Hambro. That's actually the real name of the bank. Believe it or not, it's called the Hambro Bank out of London.
Kind of like Nugan
There is a hamburger element to all this.
Or Hamburg.
There is a hamburger element.
Like hamburger. Hamburger.
Well,
hamburger. Shout out to King B if you're out there, King.
Calvi was kind of like what, not even a decade later, Robert Maxwell was trying to do. Maxwell was trying to leverage his connections to keep his empire afloat when, in the end, everybody else was telling him, give up the ghost, you got to go down, and
it didn't work for Calvi because he got imprisoned sometime shortly before his death.
Mm-hmm. In Italy, right? Wasn't he in Italy? He was imprisoned?
Yes, and he was protected also by a Gomorrah. I believe
What's that? Is that a beast of some regard?
Something in the Bible, yeah. The valley where they fight the end of days, Armageddon. The valley of Gomorrah.
Florence you were talking about before, right? Same guy.
Gomorrah is
another Gomorrah, that Israeli television show. Sodom Gomorrah.
He was protected by a
Can you finish that right? I interrupted you. Go ahead.
We're all done.
Hey, which one of you is Sodomites is in Gomorrah?
Yikes.
if your last name's Gomorrah, you might be a sinner, yeah. No, I don't know.
Hey, Jeff Fox, when did you join the show?
Sorry.
You might get turned to
bad Jeff Fox.
So he was protected by someone in the Gomorrah, and
what is that a position? Is that a ranking position within the Swiss Guard?
It's a sister city of Sodom.
No. It's a Neapolitan mafioso. Mafia.
Yeah, you know way more about Italy stuff than I do. So if you could please kind of elaborate on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, please do.
Hey, I watched this movie. You know a lot of Italian shit, you inbred motherfucker.
down for
Are you Italian, Dr. Future?
No, I was talking JJ's Italian with the inbred references.
Calvi went down for trying to wash money and got imprisoned and eventually was bailed out. But while he was there, he was bullied by a lot of the other inmates because he wasn't used to prison life naturally, kind of being, a banker.
Fed by a silver spoon.
Yeah, and then he also...
Calvi was not a silver spoon guy, but he definitely was not used to hard.
So his hands was dirty.
And I mean, let's be honest.
But he wasn't used to hanging out with the hardened criminals. Who wants to hang out with hardened criminals?
Let's be honest, though. Calvi had to be taken out when he's literally writing letters to the Pope asking him as a favor to bail him out. So it was like,
It wasn't just the Pope, though. He also was communicating with this guy named Luigi Cavallo. And this guy was also linked to Mario Moretti, and also he was associate of this guy named Ignardo Sogno, who was involved in a bunch of the right-wing terrorist plots that were going around in Italy at the time. So he extorted money from Calvi to keep his mouth shut. So for whatever reason, this kind of this deep intelligence spook was definitely, was extorting Calvi at the time.
But where was Carl Wolf in it all?
If they're bringing out Francis Ford Coppola to make this movie, they want it to sink into your minds. The movie starts out in 1979, right? He's trying to clean up his act. That's how the whole movie starts out. Yes. This is a psychological operation again to schmooze over the story, the real story, and make you think they cleaned up the mafia. As you guys all probably know, they went after the mafia and claimed that they got rid of them, and that was a success story. Do you remember this whole thing that we've been told over the years?
Well, I think that's why they tell these stories, is to try to make it seem like it's something of yesteryear, like these families have no power today, right? But
we got them.
Even the Coppola family is an actual mob family from the old world, right?
There you go. Makes sense why he would be directing it. That whole movie is like a picture of nepotism. If you want to look up his mother's in there, his father's in there, his daughter's in there. His father.
Sometimes it's
I went into
wait. You're trying to tell me that's actually his daughter?
I went into his father because the director yielded nothing, but I went into his father. His father. This is how he's described now. You'll love this. He was a flutist. Number one thing they say about him, a flautist. Flautist, as Arnold would say. He was a flautist, a pianist, a songwriter who contributed original music to the films The Godfather, The Godfather 2, Apocalypse Now, The Outsiders, The Black Stallion, and The Godfather 3. He won Academy Awards for the Best Original Score and the Golden Globe. So here's Ford Coppola is making a lot of money. He's been in Hollywood for 60 years, Coppola. Brings all his family. Now his dad gets Academy Awards. What does he get an Academy Award for? Playing the flute.
I would like to nominate
and we're supposed to believe that this is the most incredible thing that wowed Hollywood over.
Todd, we all love the way that you play the recorder, but you fucking suck at a flute.
Todd, I'd like to nominate the director, not of this film, but
I heard you play a skin flute, John. I've heard you play the skin flute really well. No, I'm just kidding.
You ain't got
intervention.
Which is okay, John. It's okay.
Later time. We're talking about The Godfather. And we're nominating Martin Scorsese for the most epic eyebrows ever in Hollywood.
Dude, what about the fucking headphones?
Is he the old lady or the other guy that looks like a guy?
No, that's his mother. His mother is
he looks just like his mother.
He doesn't have a name, I don't think, but she interacts with Andy Garcia, as Phil was pointing out there in the chat.
Man, let's be honest.
Scorsese's mom's in all the films he does.
Yeah, I've seen that. Her name is Italia Coppola.
I don't know her name.
Yeah, I looked up his family. Once I started looking at the family members, so it's all family members. His his dad gets a Academy Award, best soundtrack, or fucking whatever he produced. Played a
It
flute.
sounded bitter.
Well,
It sounded real bitter, Todd.
where do I sign up for a job like that? Yeah, come in,
You
play a
sound real
flute,
bitter,
get
Todd.
a gold award. Not a
seems
skin
like that
flute
was
like
not
you would,
only
Johnny. Something
connected to the mafia
a
of
real
the
flute.
old
No.
world, right? It also seems like they're extremely spread across New Hollywood, nepotism style, right? I mean, Nicolas Cage, Jason
Yep.
Schwartzman, right?
You know, Nicolas Cage is putting down on the credits for being involved in the film. People spend a ton of time trying to find out where he was in there. He can't be found anywhere, but his name is right there.
This is a
Connected
mafia
to the-
movie that's called a
connected to the
no-show.
credit.
Tony Soprano told you all about it, bro. It's a no-show union contract.
So Nicolas Cage is attributed to the film as
Well, let's circle back here to the finances in the Vatican. This is a diversification of the Vatican. Time magazine, January 24th, 1971.
Wait. Get the
Wait,
fuck
is
out
there
of
a
here
burger
with the
element,
loose.
sir?
Get the fuck out of here with the loose.
It's
You're coming at me with a
Skull Bones?
fucking CIA news magazine that gave
Well, of course,
fucking
Skull and
Adolf
Bones Weekly is
Hitler.
gonna no, sir. The Skull and Bones Weekly newsletter is going to tell you all about their activities. For example, for instance, the Vatican sold off to Charles G. Bluehorn's Gulf and Western 2/3 of its 15% interest in Immobiliare. The international
Holy fuck!
construction company that built
Wait! That
Washington's
completely makes sense.
Watergate
Our
apartments.
channel is a goddamn fucking Catholic. That completely makes sense. He's retarded enough to be one.
Oh, of course he is. He's
He's
probably
like
one
not
of
even
the
fucking. I mean, that's more retarded than being an ortho.
Goddamn Catholic.
I'm sure you go to bed at night watching the balls of Alan Dulles, don't you, sir?
God damn it.
How dare you?
Dulles.
Hey,
Dulles
Dulles was not a Catholic though. He was a fucking. That was a.
Bill Colby was. So Bill
What do you
Colby's
mean he's not a Catholic? His nephew was a cardinal,
No,
right?
Dulles' fucking daddy was a fucking Methodist pastor or preacher, bro. Look it up.
Well, then how did his nephew become
Who was his daddy and what did he do?
Well, hold on a second. How does his nephew become a powerful cardinal?
I mean, that's just fucking intelligent people doing intelligent things.
That's
I
just
mean,
just folks blowing each other, right? They just got to blow each other.
Hey, let's be honest.
It's fun and games. We're changing sides all the time. We're changing the sexes all the time.
Shut the fuck up, Todd. We can all go back to 1927 when fucking the Rockefeller, through the General Education Board and the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace or whatever, started fucking buying out the seminaries and actually just brainwashing or completely destroying the different schooling for the pastors and making it all progressive. But I mean, that's a whole other.
Avery Robert Dulles, dude. This is his
the
whole
son of John Foster. But look
it's
up
the intelligence apparatus taking over the world.
But look up
the fruit
father.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Look up the
Right,
father.
and we're talking about an operation around the Vatican that involves the mafia, the CIA, dude. I mean, I don't think you look for much further than the Dulles family for that enterprise, right?
Yeah, but look up
Definitely.
the father
You can count on
of
them.
John and Alan.
You can count on
He's
Dulles
a fucking he's a pastor and he's not Catholic. I'm saying the Dulles brothers were not.
Yeah, I
raised
understand they're
Catholic.
raised Presbyterian, dude, but that's kind of my point. Is this the mark of this religion is only that of just the marketing of it? You know, they don't give a shit about it, right?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. All Catholicism is just Luciferian. I mean, first
Well,
off,
let's be honest. They're just like the cloak diddlers of Rome. That's what they really are. So I'm just,
wait. Since we're talking to Society of Jesus, I gotta fucking
Secret passages everywhere, and young boys, choir boys run around all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, can you bring up this?
What could go wrong? Yeah, what could go wrong?
Can you bring up the screen that I'm sharing here? I mean, I'm gonna go back to the Mummy briefly, but I sent you this personally. Like, I want to get back onto that one because I brought up the whole Sacred Heart of Jesus, right? That painting and how the opening of the Mummy. So they placed that red crystal in it, and I looked it up afterwards, and I had to say to JJ right away, I'm like, well, I know you're Mormon, so you may not notice the significance of this here, but when we go down here, it was The artist was Pompeo Batoni. I think I said one of the 4 Ninja Turtles, so I was completely fucking wrong on that. I do apologize.
No, it's Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman.
But as far as where this painting still sits today is the Church of Jesu, which is the Jesuits' world headquarters. So that's super interesting. That when you go back to the mummy, they put the fucking red crystal on the fucking Knights Templar, the Crusader in that movie, and then it's all based on that painting or image that's located here at this location. Now, what's also interesting is this location here, which is their world headquarters, is directly across the street from. It is a Freemason. So right across the kitty corner to this church is actually one of the Freemasons' headquarters in Rome too. It's all in one plaza. So I just want to play
probably made out of marble. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yep, and the tears of many young children they raised.
And tears of many young children carrying stone blocks.
Italian marble.
Fueled by
but it's all for God. It's all for God. So it's all for God. So it's good. It's good.
Todd, wait a minute. Are you talking shit on someone using marble when your boy Rape You at the Pump Trump had to fucking go ahead and talk about how wonderful Italian marble is, and he had to import a bunch of it for his ballroom and shit?
We all have buttholes, but no one wants to talk about it.
So how are all of those little wave ripples, how are those so perfectly matching what's in the video?
Because all dispersal patterns, all dispersal patterns look the same. This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar, right? It's not, we don't have the same butthole because of that.
You're using butthole out of context. You're talking about buttholes making everyone feel weird.
And that's the point.
That's the point.
How come all of the Artemis pictures? How come all the Artemis pictures of the moon look like a butthole?
I haven't even seen one of them. Does it look like a butthole? I haven't seen one.
Dude, they've released like a dozen fucking still photographs. Like they
Are we sure that the astronauts are not just taking pictures of their own buttholes in the post?
And they spent $70
smiling like, yeah, you fucking buy this.
But they don't have the fucking stream.
They're like, no, check this out. We're gonna tell them this is the dark side of the moon. They're just snapping shots over each other.
I can see it.
Buttholes, dude. They're like, get
close up. Put a close up on it so you can't quite make out the detail of butt pimples. Look like craters of the moon. Gross.
Oh shit, dude.
Sounds like it's exactly something they would do.
What is it, Doc? Did you send me this? What is this?
Yeah, I did. Yes, that basically.
Oh shit, Todd, your name is Jerk.
Yeah, Jerk. So this guy Jerk here.
He's a real jerk.
Is allegedly the liaison between the P2 Lodge and also Roberto Calvi. And he claims, amongst other things, and he's also connected to the Rothschild Bank, of course. And he claims, among other things, that he actually, they put the money through Jurg to actually kill Roberto Calvi. That's what's claimed in Philip Willen's book about.
Is it because he was in the way of some contracts and money things they wanted to do? Is that the reason they did it?
They don't specify really.
They don't specify. Gotcha.
They don't specify. But this guy
was kind of on the run. It sounds like, right?
Yes. Well, that's his later. But he was like a top financial. I guess
he's head of the credit division of the Bank of Zurich, Rothschild Bank in Zurich.
Yes, he was one of the top accountants there, and that's where Sedone and probably Calvi.
And he was, an interesting fact. He was found hanging under the London Bridge. One of the bridges in London.
Al Pacino legally changed his name to Dunkachino. What do you got, sir?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why they wanted
London's Blackfriars Bridge is where they found him hanging.
Yes. One of the reasons why they wanted to kill Roberto Calvi because he carried around a briefcase which he wanted to extort Michelle Sedona and a bunch of the other people in the P2 Lodge, but it didn't really matter anyway because it came out with Tina Anselmi later. Much later, that all the P2 Lodge connections. So Was Roberto Calvi holding some other secrets? I mean, I guess we'll never know.
Oh, definitely.
Well, it's really funny.
Whoever goes down as the fall guy is probably the only guy that doesn't know. Yeah.
What's really
just
funny,
like
though, is
Licio Jelly was like a card-carrying member of like the KGB, the CIA, the Grey Wolves, the Masons, the fucking Swiss Guard, you name it, dude.
No, but what's even funnier though is if you think about Roberto Calvi, right? The bank scandal falls in '78, which is kind of the start of the premise of this movie, and then '82 is kind of like when he gets killed, right? But then in 1990 is when they released the movie, but at the exact same time is when all the Operation Gladio shit blows up in the Italian Parliament. So it's kind of all fucking right on track, like with even the fucking release of the Operation Gladio shit. So they
And what it's doing is it's taking your attention away from what's really happening and putting an impression in your mind that this is what happened.
There you go. Let's talk more about the
but
Gladio
I'm saying they
results.
released the movie in sync with
To make an impression on your mind that steers you away from what's really going on. Exactly.
No, but they had to plan that in advance, Todd, is the shit I'm getting at. Because they filmed for like 2 fucking years, so they don't know that story is going to drop 2 years later unless they plan the release of it.
Before we get into some of that Gladio stuff, I like your brain holes that, sir. One thing I want to make a point of, though, regarding the other guy being the charge of the Rothschilds, their credit branch there at the Bank of Zurich, or the Rothschild Bank in Switzerland. You know, it's weird. It's not really that weird to me, but it seems like overwhelmingly there's a lot of these international, especially international parapolitical events of international variety. They include folks of very high finance. For example, this article from 2011 talking about the Senate investigations into the meltdown of the Wall Street in 2008. Well, the individual that invented collateralized debt obligations, CDOs, which
That's
is what
a lie.
brought down. Hold on,
That's a lie. It goes back to the 1600s in Amsterdam.
Well, the current iteration of CDOs, if you will, and that is in the creation of the sale of CDOs, and that is a man by the name of Michael Lodra, and he was the focus as he apparently turned state's evidence. He was the head of J.P. Morgan Chase's branch of their credit division, right?
Yeah, their guy, the Chase.
Yeah, but
well, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir.
Wait.
Intervention.
I just want to come with facts, though. I want to come with facts.
This is a fact.
Not the news article.
This is a fact. The guy that was the head of the credit division for J.P. Morgan on Wall Street was the son of the mayor of Sandy Hook, Patricia Lodra, and he gets charged 6 months or 9. Hold on, sir. Intervention. He gets charged 9 months before those events at Sandy Hook.
No way.
Yeah, but that's all distraction because the collateralized debt was already.
Wait, how was that a distraction? It sounds like folks are getting forced to do shit. Maybe they didn't
on
sign
top
up
of that.
That's so weird.
On top of that, how about you? If you want to talk about J.P. Morgan,
hold on. The shooter's father was involved in the auditing process. Hold on, intervention. The alleged shooter's father, Peter Lanza, was involved in he was the head of high finance for the auditing business in charge of auditing the central banking rate in which all money is lent off of out of London.
Pretty important position.
If
you're going in and looking at the gold being weighed into weird scales,
right, dude.
like some ancient secret society thing, where they decide how much money's worth.
Around the Vatican,
bunch of scumbags.
Well, I'm just saying, there's still stuff in the film around all the Vatican banking scandals. What's that, sir?
Can you bring up my screen with the interesting J.P. Morgan shit?
No, sorry.
Yeah, dude.
You guys remember?
Maybe later on.
You want to find some cocaine distribution, dude? Just look up Coca-Cola. They've been busted numerous times with cocaine.
But on top of that, though, too, if we're going to talk about the collateralized debt and then the collapse in 2008, the whole fucking J.P. Morgan, all that shit is just bullshit. It's the Big Short. It's all Hollywood pop propaganda, limited handle. It keeps you away from David fucking Lee. It keeps you away from David fucking Lee.
I don't
David
disagree.
Lee
That's
is
what I'm
the
getting at.
quint
You don't hear the name Peter
mathematician.
Lanza or Michael Lodra in The Big Short.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. David Lee is.
That one too,
David Lee was a Chinese national who came over here to Canada. He worked for CIBC. He's the one who wrote the entire computer algorithm that was the backbone of that entire scandal. And then
came over there from China. Came over there from China.
He disappeared to China after the fucking collapse occurred. His name's David Lee.
It sounds like the Canadian. Sounds like a Canadian.
All of that.
But everything that everyone bought that all collapsed were called CDOs, collateralized debt obligations.
And what in the matter
literally
to a fucking thing without his algorithm?
Well, that's fine, but it does this in relation to major parapolitical events. So the UN was largely behind. Well, first of all, we all work for the UN, and Clint's out of uniform, so we've discussed this before. I'm going to have to write you up for that. But we, the UN, the folks that argued the case for Sandy Hook on the news, one of the alleged uncles of one of the alleged victims, he's literally the Vatican's attorney. He's represented the Vatican in kid diddling scandals here in America. His sister wrote a paper to ban guns for the United Nations. She's an attorney. They're both attorneys.
Jesus.
That's what I mean.
Total coincidence. Just total coincidence.
Yeah, total coincidence. These major events of a parapolitical nature intersect with all credit operations. Whether it's the
Have you ever looked at
that's an important position. That's an important position right there.
I'm sure.
Have you ever looked at the overhead satellite image of the Handy Sook site with Google
Satellites
Maps?
aren't real, sir. All internet and webs are connected by cables underneath the ocean. But
No, but what I'm getting at is that what I'm getting at is that the overhead is actually going to show you a corona. It's a crown, and it's a serpent being crowned. So if you look at that. And that's really interesting, but that's if you have to do the overhead, so you can actually see the serpent, kind of like a serpent mound, like going around, and then they put a fucking crown-shaped building on top of it. So
what building is this?
This is the Handy Sook site. If you look at it, the walk path with the way the building, it kind of looks like a serpent being crowned. You have to look at the overhead satellite imagery of it. But it's like,
from the main road down to the school.
Like the overhead, you'll see that
it's like a half mile driveway.
Yeah, and then of course the Corona serpent thing came like in 2020, like 8 years after that. But I mean, it's almost
No,
it's almost like the World Trade Towers come down and then they put a fucking syringe in their place called the One World Trade Center. But I mean,
Michael Lodra's mother.
Well, then they put a giant. Sorry.
She was the first select woman, aka the mayor of Sandy Hook, of Newtown.
Handy Sook.
Yeah,
we don't want YouTube to fucking nail you. Well,
got the beady eyes on her. Beady eyes on her.
They'll get me anyway. Patricia Lodra retires, longtime first select man. That's a man, not woman. It's not a gendered position. This is 2017. Yeah, I just think it's weird. I think it's weird. The epicenter of a lot of these kind of large-scale.
I just think it's interesting. You sound like Gavin Newsom there, bro.
There was a bunch of UN representatives that were caught red-handed smuggling drugs into our country, and that those fucking communists are so. They have such self-destructive empathy, and that they're willing to just give up their lives for the fucking communist bullshit. And like push any type of narrative which will make America look bad, make anybody in our country look bad. They're doing it all the time. I mean, they've got Jonah brainwashed. I mean, and
I think that was kind of the goal of Henry Kissinger, right?
Wait. The guy who believes in alien is trying to talk
Jonah is not brainwashed by these commies. Jonah is not brainwashed by these commies.
I think.
If anything, I think Jonah hates commies more than we do, but that'd be pretty hard. One thing about this movie is it was Francis Ford Coppola didn't want to do it. He said, "I'll never come back and do a sequel unless I'm hard on hard times."
You know who else did that, sir?
Who?
Wow! Al Pacino! It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new
Oh God!
That's a
Poke
true
my eyes
story.
out with the pork.
I heard he legally changed his name to Dunkachi.
It's pronounced Dunk.
I can't see him ever again without thinking of Dunkin' Donuts. You know what? Phil is one of these guys here tonight that has so much information on that period. Phil, do you live in New York or upstate?
Long Island in New York.
Long Island. You're close to that area.
Mhm.
You must have seen a lot of the press going on and whatever was with the mafia and all that. My wife's from New York.
Yeah, I mean Long Beach. Where I grew up, we had mob guys. We'd hear stories. I mean, I remember when my mother told me a story about a guy who got killed the town over from us, Lido Beach, which is like 5 minutes away. And it was a guy in the Lucchese family. I looked him up because not that I don't trust my mother, but I always believe in kind of like double checking.
Checking it out.
And I was like, guy named, I believe his name was Michael Papadio. Remember the Lucchese family shot in his driveway. And, you hear names like that. And you're like, all right, it's when you're a kid, you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool, that your parents have that knowledge. And I remember watching the first scene I always remember watching in The Godfather is Tom Hagen telling Vito that they shot Sonny on the causeway, which was Jones Beach. That was the toll booth in Jones Beach.
Place where you're familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, Jones Beach is a very popular place where people go in the summer. There's a concert venue there, and they did film part of The Godfather, like a scene or two in Long Beach, which is where the Corleone compound was, but the city was kind of like, yeah, we don't want that element here, even though that element.
We don't want mob guys hanging around killing people. It's not good for business.
They don't want mob guys at the same time as like they had mob guys. I mean, Billy Crystal, who was from Long Beach, tells the story of when his dad, they got rear-ended by a guy named Big John Ormento. Big John Ormento was a notorious.
There's a name, Big John Ormento.
The Lucchese family.
The Italians have great nicknames. They have great.
Oh yeah.
The guy was probably 5 feet tall or something. No, I'm just teasing.
Tommy Lucchese. Tommy Lucchese, whose nickname was Three Fingers Brown, lost 2 fingers in like some sort of like work-related accident.
Hey, she was worth it, though, bro. She was worth it. It only cost
he got his fingers chopped off. What's the big deal?
He died.
Hey, some girls are worth 2 fingers. I'm telling you, bro. I'll give up 2 fingers to be with some.
Which was the town over.
Mess around with Joni, might lose 2 fingers.
And Lucchese's daughter married Carlo Gambino's son.
Maybe get your toe, Joe. Get your toe, yeah.
Intervention. Let's finish.
I mean, there's
I'm sorry, Phil. With fucking Jonah's running commentary. Sorry, Phil. I really want to hear what you have to say there.
You're talking more than I am, bitch.
Grab his dick and twist it!
Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude.
You twist that dick!
Twist his dick!
Twist his dick!
Oh my god.
Oh, dick twist!
Please, no dick twisting.
Was that Ari Shafir?
Is that real?
Was that Ari Shafir?
Can't take it.
That is something you did not hear in any of the Godfather movies, as far as I'm aware of.
Totally. Twist his dick really good when you go over there. You send a message.
God,
that's
Phil,
what they really took
Phil.
Roberto Kelly.
They gave him the old dick twist.
Whoa. Stretch that motherfucker out.
To Phil.
Oh.
So where I grew up, so like Long Beach was the city by the sea, but yeah, that was a place where a lot of mob guys would go. They had summer homes. But yeah, Long Beach, Lido Beach, Point Lookout, Island Park. Island Park is where Paul Barrio from Goodfellas, Paulie, that's where he lived. It was just nice homes where you can kind of be inconspicuous. But yeah,
Phil, what comes to mind with that Long Beach thing, all the murders. Hold on, shut up, Joan, please.
Let him finish.
What comes to mind with all those Long Beach murders is you had the Son of Sam killings going on around that same time too. And then you have all these bodies being dumped out on Long Island and all these unsolved murder cases. And then you have the Process Church kind of connection going. Man, it all paints a military operation, some kind of satanic.
Hey, Phil.
Do you think the mafia would let Satanists operate in their territory willingly?
I'd say the mafia is Satanist.
Maybe they would. Maybe they're.
Yeah.
Phil, before you answer that question, if Todd ever visits you, can you make sure to show him Plum Island?
Oh, absolutely.
My wife knows Plum Island. She knows that whole area.
I think you mean Fire. I think Todd would be more inclined to go to Fire Island.
No, Plum Island.
Yeah,
don't go with them. We like you, Todd. I mean, so we don't necessarily care if you send Todd there and just be like, oh, hey, Todd, you want to go see that? I'll just wait over here for you.
Yeah, that's
what I'm going to go see this hole in the middle of the desert. It's really cool. Yeah.
I still think they do stuff out in Plum Island for sure. But
I do too. I learned about it when that Montauk monster washed up on shore out there at Montauk. I was out there that week.
Lyme disease probably came from
Don't
there.
forget, where did they move the new Plum Island? Does anyone here know where the new?
I thought they did it to the Midwest. I thought it was like Kansas or something like that.
Manhattan, Kansas, right in the fucking center of the heartland of America food production. They put the level 4 biosafety laboratory.
That makes sense.
Despite the fact that Jesse Ventura, his conspiracy show, said they're moving it out to Kansas, and like
he was a governor, dude. He was a Navy
Kansas
SEAL,
is
dude.
a horrible place. What I saw, horrible place.
Kansas, but.
So, who was this character connected to P2 Lodge?
Michael, what's his name?
Conservative.
Michael Arthur.
Early neoconservative type. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the National Security Council guy for Reagan. He was connected to the P2 Lodge.
Good old Billy Crystal. I mean, Irving Crystal.
So that's some interesting connections full circle then around all the Iran-Contra stuff from the money laundering to the operations.
Yeah. And like I had mentioned that book, The Conspirators by Al Martin said, we'll never know the true depth of the crimes that were committed in and around Iran-Contra, between the murders to cover it up, the drug trafficking that provided funds,
violations of civil liberties, and
I mean, they for 2 seconds they start questioning about Rex 84 with Oliver North's role, and then that's when Inouye, Daniel Inouye goes out and says, "Yeah, we want to continue this in
private
sessions, right?" Means, Yeah, it just means we're going to go private because who was it? Jack
one of the best.
From Texas.
One of the best things. You know what? He said that on camera though, so he let you know this subject's so important to what's going on, drugs and crazy shit. We got to go behind doors. And you remember the guy that asked him. He said, "Well, I'm kind of concerned because I'm hearing I'm hearing rumors that the Constitution is going to be suspended, and we might have to go under martial law because of some national emergency." And that's when Ayana stepped in.
At the
I think that.
Listen to this.
Signed at one time to work on plans for the continuity of government in the event of a major disaster.
Mr. Chairman.
They get real butt puckered real fast.
I believe that question touches upon a highly sensitive.
Wait, who's the black guy with the fucking mustache and the fucking glasses in the background?
Senator from Hawaii.
Which guy?
Go back. No, back behind Ollie North.
I think the Contra or the movement one half of the movement narked on the other half. The North guy was narked on by somebody, and
he was the fall guy that had to go show up and explain the stupid stuff.
Who is that guy, dude? He's done a lot of cocaine. You don't dress like that and wear them sunglasses in 1984.
Is that Rick Gaines?
Yes, I honestly only refer to them as a molestache because there's only 3 types of people that wear them: police, priests, and pedophiles.
He's a fed, dude. He's a fed all day. Look, he's got the pen too. Well, you can see the pen he's got. This is a signifier that he's got some level of security to get past somebody here, right?
Look at that tie.
That guy's dirty as fuck, bro. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, dude. You can almost see the cocaine straw erupting from his pocket.
And
that guy with Oliver North looks like
who's the guy to his
the
right?
guy with Oliver
Scott's
North
arm?
looks like fucking Henry Kissinger's cousin.
He might be Henry Kissinger's cousin, dude.
So I think there's some fishy about Ari Ben Menashe not getting murked by these Phoenix people, but yet, because I guarantee that there's people on that weren't on the list that probably narked out this North dude, and that because I know Ben Menashe narked him out, and that what's the other one we just talked about?
That's
The other
kind of
one.
what you're describing, Clint, is what we see in the film. Is they're all narking each other out. They're all trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
And in the end, nothing happens to anybody except a couple people get killed. No public justice is served or anything like that.
Well, I mean, what Clint is saying is right. Like in Prophets of War, Ben Menashe's book, he basically says that there was kind of like they were playing two sides to the operation, and
but
with Iran-Contra, there was two sides.
Other
so
than
that
Ben
one was giving the other one
Phil,
up.
do you recall the name of the other guy who wrote the tell-all fucking from '86? I forget his name. It's a fantastic one.
Was he American?
No, the IDF. He just comes out and tells everything way more than Ben Menashe.
Was it by way of deception?
Yes, that's it. That one. That book's way even better than any of the Ben Menashe shit, I think.
The Ari Ben Menashe was on the Nick Bryan podcast.
He recently was in the news claiming
Sean Ryan, you mean?
What's he talking about?
Nick Bryant. Who the fuck is Nick Bryant?
Ari Ben Menashe was
Franklin's
blaming
scared
Israel
guy.
for everything.
His side of the story.
The CIA guy.
No, apparently he recently did an appearance on. That's the first thing that came up here. Right here it says Audible Australia. One of the first things that comes up.
Yeah, he made a
No one
public
wants me to
statement
but
recently about claiming that Israel is behind something, but it's like I think he's still involved with those Phoenix Contra people.
Everything we see today going off in parapolitics has every connection.
Israel's buying something. Yeah, there's a crazy.
Aside from the bombing of Iran, that's why
wait.
Idaho Contra and all this money laundering is all around the same operation.
No, the best thing that Ari Ben Menashe said was like, "Hey, Donald Trump, we don't care how many kids you fucked, as long as you come out and shut down Israel, we will accept it." Something to that paraphrase. He's like basically saying that Donald Trump is being completely fucking. He's like, yeah, we don't care all the dirty shit you did, because if you actually like stop what's happening, the genocide, you'll redeem yourself.
Well, who's William Marico, dude? Is this Doc? Did you just post this?
Yeah, I did post that. Well, that's related to a 1979 fake kidnapping by Michelle Sedona. So he got
He
the
would face
idea.
charges to kill him. It says, right?
Yes. Allegedly tried to offer.
Wait. William Marico is from Phil's neighborhood.
Yes, not that far. Well, funny enough, Valley Stream, where one of the movie theaters, it's called the Sunrise Multiplex, was notorious for killings that happened. New Jack City, even Godfather 3, someone killed someone over a seat, sort of thing. It was. At one point, my parents said, if you go to a movie, you can go anywhere, just not the Sunrise Multiplex.
Not that one. Was it a bad part of town, or?
It's on
the edge of a bad
I
part
guess,
of town.
couldn't be civilized.
Wait, bad rope like Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Phil?
It's a questionable area of Queens, though, right? Once you get a little bit further down past Valley Stream, you get Bushwick, right?
Well, it's Valley Stream, and then it's Queens. Then it's like considered the borough of Queens, but
And Bushwick's kind of like right there, and that's not a nice neighborhood.
Well, it's a hipster neighborhood now. It's a hipster neighborhood now. All that places have been
More so.
gentrified.
Yeah, that's kind of the edge of right there. It's in Brooklyn, right? Valley Stream's technically in Brooklyn.
No, Valley Stream's right before Queens. Valley Stream's Nassau County, but it's like the most western part of Nassau County, and then it's Queens. But it used to be where I was, there's one of the towns that's not far from me, going a little bit north, was Lynbrook, and Lynbrook used to be connected to Brooklyn at one point. It's weird. Like there's just.
I was gonna say because you have Brooklyn there, because that's old. What's his name? Damn, I can't think of the guy's name. That he was Allard Lowenstein was the congressman there for many years.
And that's
But he was
that's
he was all out of Brooklyn though, which is this is all Brooklyn, right? Like Brockaway Beach.
Long Beach Library is named after Allard Lowenstein. The
Oh, is it really?
library
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, he had a Long Beach connection.
Yeah.
I mean, Long Beach is the westernmost part of Long Island, and it is only one of the two cities on Long Island. But yeah, it's not
Long Island, the peninsula, right, Phil?
Yeah, and
it's a bit of an
kind of a peninsula, or
yeah, and notoriously corrupt. You know, but I don't know what's more corrupt between Nassau and Suffolk. I would say.
But when you say west side, it's the west side of the peninsula.
Yeah, so like Long Beach is the westernmost part of Nassau County and of the island before it becomes Queens. You start getting to like JFK, you get, which is Jamaica, Queens. You start getting to, different borough. Long Beach is the end of the island. Like the way Montauk is the easternmost end, and they literally call it the end. Long Beach.
Why are they hanging out over there? Why are they doing business over there? What's the advantage of working over there?
Well, Long Beach at one point, I believe, is where because it was surrounded by water. At one point, they were at Prohibition. It was very useful to kind of smuggle booze. I know that.
Okay, take boats up the coast.
I don't know if it ever became a drug thing. I do also know that at one point in and around that Prohibition time,
Kennedy's family was involved in that bootleg.
I think the
boat smuggling.
I think the mayor of Long Beach, but someone who they named, it was a Reynolds Channel. Reynolds was murdered. It was like a politician who got killed by a disgruntled, citizen or whatever the case was. I know it's something in our city's lore.
So a nice place where pirates could operate, do shady shit on the shoreline, get away real quick.
Well, no, it's a good point, Todd. It's always been kind of a lawless land out there, has it not? I mean, there's been a lot of not just the mafia or the government, the Nazis have operated out there.
Well, the Nazis, you had the what was it? I think it was like 3 or 4 Nazis who came ashore in and around World War II, who came out in the eastern end of the island and tried
That's
to.
Right.
They were going to become like a
camp hero,
like a 4th or 5th line of kind of subvert the Allied effort or whatnot. And one I think gave himself up, and then the other 3 were caught and executed or whatnot. But just a quick thing in regards to Oliver North being given up. And JJ, obviously you mentioning Idaho with the Idaho Contra has got to talk about one of the other people who was kind of sacrificed for the good of the enterprise.
Oliver North has never given up. He's still working for Rupert Murdoch.
Well, I mean, he might have been a temporary fall guy, but Edwin Wilson, and given up so they could Secord and Shackley and
feed him to the wolves.
Secord.
Oliver North, the only reason why he didn't go to jail is because the judge threw
Shackley the blonde ghost
for national security. And then Fox News, and then later on winds up writing an episode of The Americans, which, as much as I love that show, I think probably was propaganda.
Kanye and Kim Kardashian named their child after him.
And it looks like Jonah, unfortunately, the child.
Oh, I didn't Ted Shackley West. What? Weird name, right?
I'm teasing, Jonah. I love you.
I don't even fucking listen.
So Paul Wilson was an interesting character, right? Edwin Paul Wilson here.
Yeah. Well, they
so
said
he was actually convicted of selling the arms to Gaddafi, right?
Yeah, and he, despite the fact that he said he had.
I mean, let's be honest. Obama made fucking Libya a much nicer country than Gaddafi had it.
Let's let Phil finish his point.
He said he did it at the behest of the CIA. So what happened was, at that point, Ed Wilson was it was a group called Naval Task Force 157. And really, 157 just had to do with the room it operated out of. One of the people who was supposedly critical of what Wilson was doing was Bobby Ray Inman, who was Navy and then eventually CIA at a point. But the CIA disavowed Wilson, just like they did Frank Turple, who would go on and supposedly die in Cuba, but became later on one of those people who are like, did he actually die? We don't know, sort of situation.
Fran Turple? How do you spell that?
Frank,
I don't know that one.
FRANK TERPIL.
PIL. Yeah, that's a big one in there.
Yeah, well, when they did a documentary about Gaddafi, I think it was called like Mad Dog of Libya, something like that. They had Frank Turple interviewed, but they had said he had died multiple times before. Supposedly he died in the late 2000s. But Ed Wilson was doing probably, going to be doing life between the weapons he had sold to Gaddafi, but also allegedly ordering the murder of the prosecutor of his case. I believe that was Lawrence Barcella, who'd pop up with the October surprise story, and supposedly his wife, Wilson's wife. But
we all know Gaddafi did the Lockerbie attack.
And then
I thought that was who was Lockerbie? Wasn't that the well, go ahead. Who was it?
The
PLO guy?
The Scottish airplane. They said it was Libya.
Yeah, who was the guy who bombed it allegedly? Was it the PLO guy? Syria?
I thought it was Syria. Well, I mean, Gaddafi paid damages or whatever, like he did it, but I don't think he did it. I think he just paid it just to kind of. I think it became just kind of
like, fuck y'all, I got the gold.
I think in the end they kind of put a little bit of pressure on him. This is after they had already tried to kill him. Reagan did by dropping bombs on him, and I think he just like fuck it. But considering that two of the guys who were on that Lockerbie plane, Gannon and McKee, who were CIA connected,
there you go. Yep.
I think it was. Yeah, I think that was a lot more. And meanwhile, where was the bomb planted? I think the bomb was planted in Germany. That's it was on the way from
the Frankfurt School. But can we just point out that Hillary Clinton clearly has bigger balls than Ronald Reagan because she actually got Gaddafi.
That may be true.
Saw he died.
Well, what's funny about the whole situation
and he died.
The French president that was involved with that whole circumstance got arrested over there and charged for that murder. And that's the brother-in-law to the Olsen twins, one of the Olsen twins.
Yeah, but so Libya was also part of France before World War II, right?
Well, but I was just trying to circle back to tonight's film, sir, because the Olsen twins were on Full House, and the creator of Full House, Jeff Franklin, was an underling and protege of one old cocaine Bob Evans, the devil himself.
Yes, sir. The thought of that guy making movies and hanging out with Kissinger and somehow being anywhere near national security policies is terrifying.
When we see all that, I think the important figure in that is the Michael Corleone figure from tonight's film, and that's one Charles Bluehorn, the real life character behind all those activities, because this is Cocaine Bob's boss, the man who did all those activities we see in the Michael Corleone character.
The real life guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a very interesting character. He really is, as far as what all the stuff he was in. I mean, no one really knows.
Is he Italian? Is he Italian, JJ?
He's Austrian.
Now, here's the other interesting thing too, right? Is because he's from Vienna, Austria, right? So if you go back to all of the treaties, etc., over the last 400 years, that all starts with the Treaty of Vienna, right? The 1682, is it, or 1678? So pretty much the entire fucking downfall of the last 400 years is all based out of Vienna at the starting point. And then he's been there. So I think that's one of the
Dulles boys set up all their operations, right? Was out of Vienna when he was after the World War II era. That's where they started all the MK Ultra programs. That's all the Nazis should start off there in Vienna.
That's one of their hubs as well as Nuremberg, because Nuremberg too, right? Not only did all that shit with the Nazis happen in Nuremberg and then the trials, but if you go back to the 1571, the alleged fucking alien. I mean, Clint probably believes it, but the alleged alien painting, that's in Nuremberg too.
The alien painting that the Vatican uses to talk about aliens, or which painting is that?
The Nuremberg 1571 or whatever it's called. It's like one
Alien
where
paintings.
Flavio
they literally have
Carboni,
aliens.
dude. I'm pretty sure
Oh
that's
yeah,
an
that weird
entree.
alien devil thing. Yeah, they're worshiping or something. I think I've seen that.
I'm pretty sure that's an entree at Southern Italian restaurants. Flavio Carbonari's, dude.
Olive Garden has that
Yeah, dude. They
trio
have
thing going.
endless breadsticks to go along with your Flavio Carboni.
But it's not on sale. It's like $25, so you don't want it.
Tip your waiters and waitresses and support your local science store, folks. So, Doc,
It used to be $10 2 years ago. Now it's 25. Sorry, on the Olive Garden.
Flavio Carboni is the last person who actually saw Roberto Cavalli alive. In addition to that, he's connected to Silvio Berlusconi, who was a major media magnate, also a P2 Lodge member. And Carboni was one of the people that Michel Sindona hooked Roberto Calvi up to. He hooked him up basically to the whole thing, and it was some Sardinian playboy that was made the right connections at the right time and happened to have Michel Sindona as a friend, and Cavalli, of course, and it could have been behind Cavalli's killing as well.
Well, that's very interesting. So this guy got brought to justice, as we were saying, and
No.
everything was solved?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
My bad.
Justice was served in this case, then. No.
Yeah, as always, they bring these Muppets together.
Yeah, but can I just point out
isn't Oliver North the perfect example? Brought
He is,
before
dude. No, he's a
Congress,
great example,
humiliated.
because on Fox News today,
You
tell everybody
violated
not to give
Americans'
missiles
rights.
to Iran, and
And
yet
how
he's the
does
one
he
who gave
get-
missiles to Iran.
And how does he get rewarded? He gets a talk show
He gets to
nationwide,
marry his secretary. Didn't he? Marry his
biting on
secretary?
Rush Limbaugh's heels.
Hey, wait.
The right wing.
Todd, if you're done interrupting us, I was gonna bring a point up. Now I would like to just point out with the Roberto Calvi situation, how much did they actually pay for that hit that they fucking left like 50,000 cash in his pocket?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna see when it's more than $50,000, right?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, he had about that much in his pocket when he.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They say some people that are compromised accept very low amounts of money that you would even believe to do
You
shit.
ain't kidding. That's true.
I think he had like $150,000, on his like fucking pocket.
I'm pretty sure a homegirl that looked the other way in the Epstein Manhattan detention center, she only got paid like 60 grand total.
You catch Francis Ford Coppola at the right point where he's broke, he might do Godfather 3.
Well, not only that, Todd, you got to think about this also. He just got fresh off of those old diddling charges with that young boy.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. He was
charges.
No, so
I
Francis
didn't
Ford
see that.
Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola was the executive producer of a film called Clown House. He hired Victor Silva as the director. Victor Silva diddled Nathan Forrest kid on one of their stars of the film.
Yes, Powder, and also those Jeepers Creepers.
Well, that's
Appropriate name.
afterwards.
Oh, Jeepers
That's after
Creepers
Victor
was a good
Silva
movie,
did
though.
time,
Come
apparently,
on.
right?
At least when I
But
thought
Francis
it was good.
Ford Coppola has
Okay.
Nathan Winters come back to his house and do post-production work after he got diddled at Coppola's house by Victor Silva.
When you get done getting raped, come over to my house. We'll
When you
film
get
some
done
scenes,
getting
will you?
diddled by the Clown House over there at Coppola's house. Yeah, that was
Stop
89.
by my
So
place and
he's
make a
literally
movie.
fresh off of that scandal.
Oh my god! Well, he made a movie in the biography on Coppola. They say he made a really bad movie that took his finances down this musical fantasy
JJ.
thing. You're like,
JJ,
okay.
your audience is asking for Lucy to be a mod.
Oh well.
Why is someone going crazy in the audience? Are they just loving the show? Are they loving the show? Do you like? Are you not entertained?
Don't be a fucking communist. Leave a like. It's free. And of course, next
Please.
week we are doing the producers. And leave
Don't
the
hate
fucking
us
like.
just because
God damn it,
Jonah.
you bastards.
So Clown House
Anyway,
became this
back to the movie.
controversy. No, I appreciate the kind words, sir, for sure.
Just
as always, you're at Operation GCD. This is brought to you by the good old folks at Jar of Mayonnaise. Support your local science store.
It makes a fantastic lubricant for masturbation.
If you need to do that, it doubles as a lubricant, it sounds like.
Oh, Anthony Cumia? Like, are you literally...
somebody mentioned Jesse Ventura earlier, and this has been stuck in my brain hole.
It's something like the Illuminati.
There you go.
So you're saying UPS is involved with the CIA and the FBI. Is that what you're saying?
Every time I hear anytime Jesse Ventura's name mentioned or anything, that's all I see is that clip in my brain hole.
Right
yeah,
on.
Jesse Ventura's retarded.
Oh God! Him and Alex Jones. How many years has Alex Jones been predicting the end of the world and World War III and the Illuminati and boner pills and all this shit?
Not enough.
The conspiracy culture, if you want to look back on it, is the history of like salesmen. The world's going to come to an end. Buy gold, buy food, buy my program. You can judge them by their fruits. If you're buying gold from them and the world doesn't come to an end, then you can probably judge.
If you buy gold, let's be honest. Call it you.
Well, I'd call Swiss America Trading.
I'm sure he's sitting on some gold
Let's get a Ouija board and see who Bill Cooper would call.
I'm calling a Jew, and they better fucking have the curls on the side of their head. Not no fucking. They better be fucking.
I'm gonna go track down Oliver North and pretend like he's a leprechaun. And tell me,
Jonah, are you an anti-Semite?
I'm an anti-Semite because I'm saying that they sell the best product. Get the fuck over yourself, Todd.
How dare you?
I'm giving them credit for their business acumen and quality of product.
An inside job. I never went to that island. Oh, when I did, those girls, I don't know. Have you seen my wife? You go to the island.
Wait. Shut up, Todd, for a minute. At How Bizarre, I was going to go ahead and say your knowledge is the greatest currency. That reminds me of Frederick Douglass, and it is what's it like to be a slave on the 4th of July when he was at the White House with Abraham Lincoln. He does say in that knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave, I think is the paraphrase. I'm not going to say that's 100% accurately, but
yeah, once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Like ringing the bell, knowledge doesn't evaporate unless somebody bashes your brains in, then it goes away. Yeah, knowledge goes away real quick. Go on, Jonah.
Oh, I just quoted Frederick Douglass because that's one of my favorite sayings there. Knowledge that makes you unfit to be a slave. So that's why we're here on every Wednesday. That's why we're here on Friday. Unfortunately, Todd does show up occasionally and just kind of destroys the show with really bad singing.
On occasion. But John likes it when I do Gordon Lightfoot. Sundown, I think it's a sin when I get feeling better and I'm feeling no pain. But you gotta start so sundown.
Hey, the great Canadian folk artist.
If I found you've been creeping around my back.
Gordon Lightfoot.
I do not know Gordon. And
the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. JJ, are you an American son?
I'm pretty sure you're naming the isn't that the?
No, it's Gordon Lightfoot. He's
JJ, are you an American? You've not heard of Gordon Lightfoot? No, I'm just teasing. Well, you better look him up real quick because he's Canadian. That's why you haven't heard of him. He's Canadian. I think.
Song about that stupid ship.
Yeah,
the stupid ship that went down. The guy they sold was this fantastic folk guitarist.
I think I said
did like 3 songs that everyone loves.
This is a terrible song, dude.
It's a great song. You get drunk, you drink some beers, you get all starry-eyed and listen to this song.
All those fucking dead sailors.
All those people went down trying to fish for crabs in Lake Superior.
They're soaking in water graves, and you're going to piss on their graves.
Man, you're going to make enemies of all 27 of those members' families.
How dare you, sir? How dare
They're
you?
all from Long Island, New York, too. No, Michigan.
Well, I do thank all you gents for joining me here tonight to get a little GCD in the
Oh,
topic.
sorry, JJ. Didn't mean to get too crazy on you.
No,
Thank you.
Well, let's bring this in for Wayne, and we'll toss it around for everyone to share their closing statements or favorite parts of the film. I'll start. I loved it when Kamala Harris blew somebody.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah, well, no, hold on.
Producers?
My favorite part was when Kamala Harris blew somebody to get her boyfriend Willie Brown in the film.
Camel face.
Thank you very much for the contribution of the board swing. And we need your help on Sam Wallace's candidacy for judgeship. We always can use a good judge. Thank you.
Angela.
Let's have a round of applause for the mayor of former mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown. Downtown Willie Brown.
Upstanding
Her name
figure.
is not
He's one of
Kamala
the finest
Harris.
puppets ever to come from California, right there.
Should be an inspiration to us all. How you survive in the swamp, get rich, or die
Todd,
trying.
you missed the first part. What was your favorite part of the film?
Favorite part? When Al Pacino got killed. When it was over.
It was the Al Pacino where I got it.
Oh,
Wow! Al Pacino! It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new...
finally, it's over. Oh,
Yeah, that was my favorite
real
part,
bad
too.
after he had that triple shot of Dunkachino.
Favorite.
his heart attack scene. Scene.
Yeah, at the end, the dog he falls out of the chair, and then the dog bites his ear, makes it full circle.
Redonkulous.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really watch the full movie because like once
Joe don't even watch it. He's commenting. Jonah's here tonight. He didn't even watch it. He's just talking shit
I'm
about
like,
it.
I'm out. I'm out.
There's a lot
Good
of
for
incest,
you.
very heavy incest.
Oh, it's all
You said
incest.
that was not your favorite part. That was not your favorite part. The incest.
Half
And
the
then,
movie was
kinda
the
odd, 'cause,
incest.
like, there's
Too.
one
It's like,
part-
why?
Well,
Stupid.
I think we know why.
I mean, that's the Italian way. That's the Italian way.
Right.
How dare you, sir?
I mean, it's the more
How dare you?
the more
I'm not
down
Italian, so I
Love
can't
it,
really
son
say
of.
anything.
Hopefully, there's no Italians in it.
No offense to
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Dare you?
Oh, thank you, JJ.
I mean, it is
Sorry
the
if we get crazy
Borgia
at
way.
times.
It's the Borghese way. It's
Jonah
you know,
can't help
it's all
himself.
the
I kind of
fucking
can, but
Bloodline
once he
family,
starts going, I have a hard time. Phil, it's so good to see you, buddy. It's so good to see Phil. Fuck, I love to hear Phil's brain. All you guys'
Like
brains.
Licio Jelly, though, I think it's a stretch to say that the Italians have not had a major impact on the state of America.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the Carbonari wanted to start a constitutional republic in the early 1700s in Italy.
Well, this guy was a major figure under the Gladio operations, though, right? If I can ask that one more question before we. I don't want to get
Absolutely.
too far spun back up on that, but if it wasn't for folks like Jelly, they wouldn't have been so successful in those kind of
Jelly donuts. Liquio jelly donuts.
It reminds you of the OSS. OSS is what we're going back to here before the formation of the FBI and the CIA.
That's what I'm saying. This dude was there from the beginning in Italy, I think, right? Like he was a major figure in the Italian.
In 47, they decide they're going to form an official agency to do dirty deeds and split them apart. But the OSS was probably doing both the FBI and the CIA work before they.
Yeah, but at least Jelly lived longer than all of his criminal Muppet constituents. Look at that. I mean, he lived the longest, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They always do.
96. 96
They always do. The evil ones live to be 100 years old. Fucking look at all of them. They live to be like 108,
But
101. They live out their birth dates.
The most important one in the whole like NATO stay behind units and all that, the one who really got it going directly with the Dulles brothers was Karl Wolf. And he was around till he was around till his 90s too.
This is a major assassination in parapolitics of the Olaf Palme.
How old was Kissinger when he died?
100.
100?
Was he
He was 100 because he hit 100. He went and made
He was
Xi
going to
Jinping blow
China
up
on official business like the same year that he died.
after his 100th birthday.
China.
At 100, he was still doing national policy, flying around the world telling people what to do.
Oh, he was still hitting Bilderberg meetings. So was what's his name? So was David Rockefeller. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of evil doesn't have a retirement plan. They go to the end.
Yeah, they just
And
replace
then-
The devil
themselves.
doesn't
with
have a good
part.
pension, is what you're saying, huh?
Well, when one falls, another takes a position.
And you know what else they're doing, JJ? They're using our religious beliefs against us, like in the Godfather movie. Oh, you go to confess your sins. I killed my brother. I killed his wife. I killed his daughter.
Yeah, like
Oh,
that
it's so
religious
sad.
belief not to bang your
Oh,
cousin, dude. They're using that against
God.
us big time in this film.
And then all he has to do is do that, and then the priest says, "It is very horrible. I hope you learned your lesson, but I know you won't. So go on about your mafia business." That's
So,
pretty
give me
much
one of
sounds
these,
like
right?
how
Can I do one of these for you?
do one of these and like,
Water on you?
I know you won't change, but go about your ways. Wow, that's true shit.
Just a quick item with Michele Sindona with the fake kidnapping. You know, in terms of points for originality, he doesn't get it considering that Joe
No, he
Bonanno
got it from Aldo
faked this
Moro.
kidnapping. Aldo Moro. How about Joe Bonanno in '64 faked his own kidnapping, and then
No shit.
Hey, don't forget the Bronfman kid.
How about John Paul Getty III with the Kimura?
Oh yes, yeah,
remember
the
that one.
Dringaton.
You know.
Yep.
By the way, if
Connect-
we ever get a chance, Trust, the mini series that they did about that with Donald Sutherland and Brendan Fraser. That was really good. A handful of years ago, that was about the whole kidnapping, and then there was a movie they did with Mark Wahlberg.
Phil, do you know who helped Michele Sindona? Yeah, I'm kind of sick of saying his name, but do you know who helped him? John Gambino actually helped him.
Oh, it was the Cherry Hill Gambinos. John Gambino.
Yeah.
They were the Sicilian.
I don't know that story.
Well, because one of the Gambinos of that wing, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, I think it was Roger Clinton. I think one of the Clintons tried to get him a pardon.
Yeah.
He helped
Bill
Michele
Clinton was on his way
Sindona.
out.
So this was a younger brother to John Gotti? What was this? What was his relations to John Gotti?
No, they were Sicilian cousins of Gambino. Salvatore Inzerillo, whose name is mentioned here, he was killed in the Second Great Mafia War, which was basically the Corleonesi, the Corleone mobsters against everybody else in Sicily. And I think it left like a couple thousand dead in the late 70s, early 80s. Salvatore Inzerillo was one of them. Stefano Bontade, Gaetano Badalamenti was one of the guys who escaped and eventually be charged in the Pizza Connection case, along with Tommaso Buscetta, who had become one of
Provenzano.
Yep, Bernardo Provenzano. I mean, he was one of the last of the Corleonesi bosses. They're considered defunct now. Take that for what you will. Provenzano, they caught.
So is this the namesake for the Corleones in the film?
I mean, the Corleone. So in The Godfather, Vito Corleone's original last name is Andolini. He escapes the mafia violence because they try to kill him when he's like 9, 10 years old. He gets basically hidden by relatives and townspeople. He escapes. He gets on a boat to Ellis Island, and they read his name, and they, instead of taking Andolini, they say Vito Corleone, and he adopts the name. I think that's kind of what happened to my family, you know, growing up back ancestry-wise. They just took a certain aspect of it. And
A lot of people change their family names.
Yeah.
Because if they're coming from a certain area during a time period, it has a negative association.
No, that allows them to marry their cousin.
Or they just want to, for other reasons,
watched
Phil, they
the
just
movie.
hide.
That
I'm not
allows them to
saying
marry
you,
their
Phil, or
cousin. They had
hide,
different
or
last
you're a
names.
secret agent whatsoever.
Right, I saw that.
But
part.
I am saying, throughout time, you hear these stories about certain people change their names. When they go to a different country, so it sounds more like the country they're living in.
Or it's the show business thing, which we will see next week when we do The Producers.
Oh, yeah.
Which was made by Mel Brooks, and his last name was Kaminsky.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it just doesn't take with one name, So it's funny enough that every time I've heard the last name,
JJ, can you look at the Rumble
Mel
comments?
Kaczynski doesn't quite work as well as Mel Brooks, though.
Mel Brooks or Albert Brooks, they changed it. It's there's another previous last name, But yeah, Italians,
Totally.
they've done that a lot.
No, I'm not the vice president. This is JJ Vance. Not.
I saw that. I was like, God damn, I didn't bring that up.
Yeah, no Bob's here. No
Well,
Bob's
we
here.
are pushing to make you the vice president next time if possible.
Well, don't vote for me, sir. I'm too busy vampire hunting.
No, we need vampire hunters. We need more powerful vampire hunters like yourself, JJ, out there cleaning up stuff.
Yeah,
Our
they wear
vampires.
tiny hats. That one fella you were showing me earlier was wearing a tiny hat in his Wikipedia photo from the Reagan administration.
Oh,
and he's
what do you
involved in the P2 scandal, right? He's got a tiny hat. wearing
The
P2
Archbishop
scandal
was
guy.
wearing a tiny hat.
Oh.
But yeah, what was it? It was just interesting though with Sindona. With the first time I saw his name was in the Henry Hill book, Wise Guy, Nick Pileggi's book, because when they arrested Henry Hill, they had various different law enforcement agencies wanted to talk to him, and one of which involved a murder case that had connections to Michela Sindona, even though it was still a handful of years before Sindona's death. But yeah,
Really?
no, Sindona, I mean, yeah, there was and then in the end, Henry Hill gave up as much information as he could. I mean, I don't know if he was ever connected that far, but maybe in the drug pipeline, there could have been a tangential connection. But
Sure, because they were washing so much money throughout that whole process. Again, they're dealing with communists. They got Grey Wolf terrorists. They got the KGB.
Can you imagine trying to keep track of all that, all those operations?
I'm pretty sure they're washing money for all those folks. What were we saying?
What was it? The heroin?
Oh, I said, can you imagine keeping track of all those operations?
No,
Yeah,
I couldn't.
I mean,
The craziness of that involved in the money
fun.
and sitting on top of that shit. Sounds like that last movie we reviewed, the one with the lucky numbers. Just hand out a bunch of money and tell everybody to do whatever the fuck you want.
With what was it? Klaus Barbie. Klaus Barbie is connected with the cocaine coup in Bolivia. So,
cocaine coup.
honestly
Bob Evans ain't far behind.
Oh, he must have been somewhere sniffing around.
I always think
What are you
about,
saying, sir? I apologize.
I always think about, and I always think there's greater connections to it. One of John Gotti's guys, Angelo Ruggiero, his brother Sal was a huge cocaine trafficker. He gets killed in a plane crash, but then later on, with the feds investigating it, eventually leads to them getting a wiretap on Angelo's phone. And eventually that leads to Angelo getting indicted for heroin trafficking along with Gene Gotti. And then eventually that leads to Paul Castellano requesting the tapes of Angelo Ruggiero where he's bad-mouthing Castellano. And then later on, John Gotti orders the hit on Paul Castellano. Like that sort of like domino effect from the drug trafficking is something even further connected out. Who's to say that something like Paul Castellano's hit didn't emanate from an intelligence-connected drug trafficking ring?
Sure, I think it probably did. I think you're making a good point. I think it crosses over a lot like that.
It had to have, because I continue throughout time to go. They don't know the mafia is operating. They're listening to every single device. Our entire system is totally wired, and the government and the people that run this place don't know what's occurring. Now they know what's occurring.
They know what's occurring. Now I think that's kind of the point.
Doesn't mean they're involved in every aspect of it. Doesn't mean they're involved in every aspect of it. Operations are running everywhere. A classic example is running the guns down to Mexico to see where they go, and then they come back and shoot DEA agents.
Well, they claim they want to know to see where to go. They're wanting to foment terror, man. That's all they want to do.
I mean,
no doubt.
God.
Now we're fighting the cartels.
Where does Angelo Ruggiero?
They traded the fucking Victor Belt for a fucking transvestite.
Well, that's standard. That's a standard measure right there.
Victor Belt. They traded him for a transvestite.
Victor Bout
for Brittany Griner
was the inspiration for Nicolas Cage, Lord of War.
Gods of War, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
Brittany Griner is definitely a dude. I sat next to that thing on an airplane one time when it played for Baylor University. Dude, it had a way bigger. I don't have a small Adam's apple, but Lord of mercy, that's a big Adam's apple on that lady.
One of the spooky things about coming on JJ's show is it becomes clearer and clearer that the national security is a big thing involved in a lot of these cases. And
Fuck yeah, it is.
we're living in a society where these people
Bob
are.
Evans, Charles Blue, aka Michael Corleone from tonight's film.
They do whatever they want. They do whatever they
You
want.
don't want no security. You don't protect your nation.
You don't.
Are you saying you do not want a safe nation?
So where does a fellow like Lefty Ruggiero, Al Pacino's character from Donnie Brasco, run into Angela Ruggiero? Are they the same Ruggieros, I imagine?
They could be related. So here's an interesting connection. So
it's quack.
Yep.
So Donnie Brasco. So I'm going to give you a connection. So you're passing the name right now, Michael Sabella. He's from. There's a connection to Long Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was a captain in the Bonanno family, but due to the war that takes place in the Bonanno family, he gets demoted, which there's always worse punishments because those who vouched for Joe Pistone, aka Donnie Brasco, were murdered.
Right.
That would be Sonny Black Napolitano, Dominic Napolitano. And they wouldn't find him for a while. And that would be one that Joe Messino would be connected to. There'd be a guy named Tony Mira who'd get killed. Benjamin Lefty Ruggiero was on his way to a meeting he wouldn't come back from, and the FBI intercepted him.
I mean, is his last name Pistone or Pissed on Me?
I don't know
how that dude walks around does podcast interviews today, right? Like, how's that?
They just took the M out of his name. Pissed on Me.
Yeah, but you know who Pistone had a nice dinner with? Whitey Bulger.
Yo, mama. No, I'm kidding.
John, please allow Phil to finish. No.
So he crossed over
Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger, you know,
Green's outfit.
When you mention Whitey Bulger, Phil, if I may, you know what comes to mind?
Did you just tell
the
me
government experiment on Whitey Bulger was LSD.
Mm-hmm.
You literally said
he was put through a pretty serious LSD program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Whitey Bulger claimed they almost drove him nuts, put him in a dark cell, dropping large amounts of LSD onto him.
Would you let Phil finish? Hey, Todd, Phil, I got a question for you.
I know what Todd's talking about, though, so I'm with him on that.
Yes, John?
Shut up, Todd. Let Phil finish.
You got the floor. Yell at me. No, I just kidding. Phil, I always appreciate you on the show. You and Jonah.
Who's Tommy Karate?
And Clint. Doctor.
What's he doing down there in
Inferno?
Wait, Tommy Karate, isn't that fucking Joey Diaz's name? I'm kidding, Joey Karate.
Tommy Patera was an infamous.
He's sitting down there at Big Sandy in Appalachia country right there.
And there's a movie going to be made where what's his name? Pete Davidson's going to play him.
Oh God, that ugly bastard! The rings around his eyes.
Because they did a book about him by a guy named Philip Carlo. Philip Carlo wrote about Richard Kuklinski. I think he wrote a few mob books, but I know he wrote about Tommy Karate. And so Tommy Patera, he had his weakness was he kind of had like a very high pitched voice, and so some saw that as a defect. But he was
like Mike Tyson.
Wait,
he was
get
a
the fuck out of here
killer.
with this Kumite competition on
Michael
Wikipedia.
Jackson.
I gotta jump in on that.
He actually trained to be a ninja?
What are you saying, Jonah?
Kumite competition according to Wikipedia. Get the fuck out of here.
Gotti was someone who I think even popped up in the John Gotti tapes. But yeah, he was. I mean, the
Wow.
Bonanos. I mean, every mafia family in New York. I mean, we're not even going to talk about like Chicago, where you had Sam DiStefano and Tony Spilotro. New York, you had Roy DeMeo with the Gambinos. You had Greg Scarpa and the Colombos. You had fucking Tommy DeSimone and the Lucchese family. I'm trying to think of the Genovese family. Well, pick a name. I mean, the Genovese had a bunch of heartless
Ton of
killers.
Genovese.
But the Bonanos, you had guys like Tommy Patera. You had, I mean, Lucky Ruggiero killed 26 guys at least. Joe Massino, I mean, they were going to bring, he was facing the death penalty, and then he turned rat. And that was after his brother-in-law gave him up. I mean, that was kind of part of it. Dominic, I think it was Vitali was the guy who gave Massino up, but Massino was looking at the death penalty. I mean, all these guys. Sammy Gravano in the Gambinos was a convicted killer of 19 people, including his own brother-in-law. And the only reason
Sammy the Songbird.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the brother-in-law. Let's be honest. I've met a few brother-in-laws.
Well,
maybe they were married. Maybe they were incestuous.
He had his brother-in-law. It was Nick Scabetta, his wife's brother, killed because he believed it was kind of like number one, he was responsible, and I believe he thought it was kind of like a mercy killing.
He loved his sister so much.
He told the
killed
story
her
sitting in the
husband.
back of the car and just pops the dude in the front seat or something.
I think he thought it would have been worse if it was taken out by maybe someone like.
I love my sister a lot too. Yeah.
Exactly right. She was mine first, you son of a bitch.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, JJ. I mean, anybody messes with my little sister, I might do something dramatic too. I love my little sister. No, I don't want to have sex with my little sister. Those guys probably do though.
Just to give a Christopher Walken reference, if anybody's ever seen Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, which was also a Warren Zevon song.
Yeah.
Just to think of, there's a term of the most painful killing possible, and they call it buckwheats. I think in the mafia there is that sort of killing. Sort of a Muammar Gaddafi sort of killing. You know,
Muammar Gaddafi.
Things to do in Denver when
What
you're
is
dead,
this killing? Describe this killing to us, please. Yeah.
Well, things to do in Denver when you're dead. They have a hitman named Mr. Shush, and it's Steve Buscemi. And
We need him for Jonah. Bring him in. Call him for Jonah. No.
But no, the best line in that movie. The best line in that movie is he's like, yo, like, life is like when you're in school and you spend the whole time waiting for. I'm paraphrasing because I can't quote every fucking song I ever heard like this fucking idiot over here. But no, it's like it's like life's like when you're in school, you spend your whole life waiting for, or you spend the whole year waiting for a summer break, but then when it comes, it's over. So that's the best fucking line from that movie. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing
And
it, but
Andy Garcia's in that. Andy Garcia is the star of that. And to be honest, Andy Garcia and Treat Williams are the best, and Walken are the best parts of that movie.
Okay.
It's a great fucking movie, but I haven't watched it since like '94.
What's the name of it again?
Not good. Things to do in Denver when you're dead.
Denver when you're dead.
Okay. Write that down. Look for that.
And Warren Zevon was the son of a Mickey Cohen gangster.
Warren Zevon did that stupid fucking song from Californication too. With,
I hate that song.
David Dick on me. I mean, Duchovny.
I know the storyline where
David don't want to put his dick on you, sir.
Esque story.
I mean, the X-Files is kind of really fucking gay.
I didn't know that his dad was a Mickey Cohen associated mobster, though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's never good. Like in the movie where
yeah, there you go.
He screws around with the Godfather's daughter. That's never a good movie.
Warren Zevon's also
and his cousin or whatever.
Oh, dude, his mother's a Mormon, Todd. She's got the underwear, dude.
They also bring up a
Got that holy garment showing. She's protected. She goes straight to heaven.
David McGowan book. The Laurel Canyon one. They talk about Warren Zevon quite a bit in that one.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. His whole career is very connected to that Laurel Canyon scene for sure.
Well, I mean, Mickey Cohen, besides being one of the first boosters for Nixon, Mickey Cohen, even after he's no longer what was it? Daryl Gates, the police chief, called public nuisance #1. They just had, I think it was the anniversary of Lana Turner's killing of Johnny Stompanato. I know they said it was her stepdaughter, but I think in the end it was Lana Turner killing him in self-defense. Stompanato worked for Mickey Cohen, and then Mickey Cohen, during the inquest, reads love letters that were exchanged between Turner and Johnny Stompanato. You know, Mickey Cohen was a guy who, when he was no longer like a powerful gangster, just needed to be in the limelight. So he kind of like clung to it. I mean, till his death. I mean, because they even, the Hearst family brought him in during Patricia Hearst's kidnapping. You know, they hoped that maybe he could lend a hand. They thought he was still instrumental in the rackets at that point, but at that, I mean, when he was in prison, he got beaten over the head. I mean, he might have had an early version of CTE. You know, he was fucked up. But
is this Michael Cohen, this lawyer with Trump, related to this guy in any sense?
No, not that guy. I mean, as far as
not
I know.
that guy.
Yeah,
no, Mickey Cohen though.
Mickey Cohen was connected. He was an associate of Bugsy Siegel, and then later on he fights.
Isn't Mo Green? Isn't Mo Green? We were talking about that earlier, sir. Isn't he the Paul Justin?
No, he tried to shoot up Al Ruddy, bro. He tried to shoot up Al Ruddy in the offer. Oh.
Yeah, he does have a sit down.
Oh no, I know, but I'm saying in the Godfather, Mo Green is like Bugsy Siegel and
yes,
right,
yep, 100%.
It's like a representation of those characters.
Yeah, Mo Green is definitely, shot in the eye. Yep, and there's Hyman Roth is supposed to be Meyer Lansky.
There you go. Yeah, so that's the Jewish mob connections, right?
Yeah, Mickey Cohen was instrumental in Nixon's financing. Like they talk about an early,
because he was the LA guy, right? Whereas like Bugsy Siegel was like the Vegas guy, right? Is that
and one of Nixon's early advisors, Murray Schotner, was connected to the mob. That would be something that would come up. Yeah, that would.
It's not a lot of mob connections, isn't it?
Phil, the mob's separated into different areas, right? Different people run in different areas as far as the story goes.
Different fights.
Well, yeah, territories.
You got the ones over in Chicago and the ones over in New York, and then the ones that are going out to New York or Nevada. The ones going to California.
Hey, Phil, since you brought up Nixon, I had to ask JJ to bring up that official memorabilia from the '72 Nixon campaign. I don't know if you got to see it.
Sounds cool.
I did see it quick, but so just a quick thing, just what Todd was talking about, because it's going to bring it together. So you had open areas. Miami was considered an open city. Vegas, because there was so many different casinos. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. They can't lick our dick. That sounds like
that was the entire slogan for '72 when he won the most seats ever. And then they fucking ran him out for fucking Spiro.
I love it. I'm sure he didn't put that out.
No, that's the official memorabilia.
The president does it. It's not illegal.
There's set to be a book about Don Bolus, the reporter from Arizona's death. And Arizona,
I remember that guy. Yeah, he was in the Castellero scandal.
Arizona's a very spooky place.
Yeah. So, and interestingly enough, in the 70s, when car bombs would start becoming the end for a lot of people, because in and around Bolus's death, out in Cleveland, you had the war for control of the Cleveland mob that would eventually kill Daniel Green and John Irish. But in Arizona, that was their retirement. Like Joe Bonanno had kind of been, he didn't retire, he was forced to retire.
Get away. We're living in death.
Yeah, and they forced him to live down there, right? In Tucson, right?
Oh, wait. Is that why Todd's in Arizona? Because he's in Woodstock too?
Woodstock too?
That's where Jimmy Moran, a.k.a.
Arizona is spooky. It's spooky. You look around and you go, why would anybody live here besides there's palm trees and shit?
I mean,
they bought in.
That's the reason to live there, bro. Like,
it's very scary. Because if you go out in the desert, you'll die.
When Don Bolus got killed, there was a whole investigation by fellow reporters, including from one of the Long Island papers, Newsday, a guy named Tom Renner, who was co-writer of more than a few mob books. I think even, I want to say Sam Giancana's daughter, Antoinette, her autobiography, they went out to investigate it, and they were like, well, is it mob related? I think in the end, I mean, they're still questioning it because they talked about guys named Kemper Marley, John Adamson. There was an organized crime connection to it. And then, there was aspects to it where they were like, okay, we don't think we got everybody. Max Dunlap, you had like 3 or 4 different guys in Arizona who were connected. And I think like almost 50 years on, it almost has that, those parallels to Danny Casolaro, where there was people who had motive, means, and opportunity. And did they get the right person?
Wait, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. His middle name is Fee-Fi-Fo Field. Like, Fee-Fi-Fo Bum. Like, get the fuck out of here. This guy ain't even fucking real. Fee-Fi-Fo Bum.
He kind of looks like a Muppet, doesn't he?
Is this a Fee-Fi-Fo?
Fly Field? Get the fuck out of here. That's not a real name.
47 looks a lot different than it used to, I think,
Right? He looks like
I'm 48.
73 in today's age.
I'm 48, bro.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm only a year off from this.
Arizona must have been
Scroll down a little bit there to that Phoenix logo.
Which one?
No, a little bit further down. There was a Phoenix logo on the outside of the building. Hotel Clarendon. No, I was just wondering because, like, I worked at a bar that had that same logo. I was a bouncer there. It was called Club Phoenix.
Was it swastika?
No, that's what you wear.
6 sticks of dynamite, huh?
I'm just teasing, John.
They really wanted that motherfucker to blow up, dude.
Well, I mean, in and around this time, like I said, in Cleveland, you had what would go on for control of the Cleveland mob, and that would later lead to, what was it, John Nardi, who was a Teamster, and Danny Green, that within a year of each other.
Danny Green,
yeah. But Don King is the only thing that matters when you say the Cleveland mob. Don King is the only thing that matters with the Cleveland mob.
Don King skirted on 2 murder charges because of his Cleveland mob connections.
Yeah, I know. Only in
America, aka Martin Luther King Jr. Have you seen that conspiracy that Martin Luther King Jr. fakes his death and became Don King?
We rode over the top of Clint all night. Sorry, Clint, because your conversation, your input's always cool as hell.
High to pay attention.
One thing, listening to your show tonight, JJ, it just comes back around to.
You're on the show, sir. This is the show. What are you
I know. I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, whoa, dude, it's cool. Listen, one thing that comes to mind is these mob bosses and territories in the structure. Do you think this could exist without the government knowing it's here?
Fuck no, dude. They facilitate it all, dude. They use it when they want to, and they ignore it when it's not convenient for them.
And they make a bunch of movies telling you how it all ended. He tried to go legitimate. He killed his brother, but he's going to heaven.
I think that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. When it comes down to it, the mafia is just like the fucking, they have their capos, they have their fucking street captains, but at the end of the day, the mafia is just the little fucking
part of America.
No, they're the little terrorist cells of the Vatican. Let's be honest.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think terrorism can exist no different than the mafia here in America, and we see that with a story about a guy we were talking about earlier. Muammar Gaddafi in a little place called Valley Stream, New York.
Department.
Long Island.
Oh no! That's just the FBI hiring a bunch of fucking retards, bro. That's literally the FBI convincing a bunch of retards. Hey, we got like 36 of dynamite. And we need you to fucking do this. Oh, okay.
Do you hate Americans? So do I. Here's 36 dynamite. Let's go. Yeah.
I mean,
they're
get
the
the
ones
fuck out of
facilitating
here
all
with
of
that
this.
shit. I mean, anyone who buys into this, like, oh,
We're not
the
falling
Muslims are
for
a
it.
big
Yeah, we're not
threat,
falling
just
for it.
fucking
Yeah,
need to pay
hey, look
attention
here,
to their
look here,
fucking
buddy. You want me to fall for that? I'm not falling for that, buddy.
I mean, who's a bigger threat to
You're
America,
slightly
the CIA
disgruntled.
or the fucking
Here's
Islam?
36 of dynamite. I'll drive you to the place you don't like.
But look at how Muammar Gaddafi was used as this boogeyman whenever it was convenient for the government to roll him out.
Exactly. Kind of Iran. Iran's been a boogeyman for many years.
I mean,
you guys both said at the same time. I couldn't hear you. You guys
Iran's been a boogeyman.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
And pray for Ted's recovery,
They got
folks.
lasers, bud.
Pray for Ted's recovery.
What I said was Obama made Libya a much
From
better
laser
country. Now we
surgery.
can buy slaves again.
Those eyelashes.
Make sure they're laser-proof sleeves.
I mean, but just in regards to Long Island, I mean, Long Island, besides being, you know, a huge aspect of territorial sort of issues with the mafia, I mean, various aspects of the five families were on Long Island. You also had certain covert operations. I mean, in Freeport, which is not, again, a place not that far from where I live, there was alleged to be a part of the Iran-Contra operation that was operating. So,
Hey, wait. Isn't the Warden Cliff Tower in fucking Long Island, though?
Yeah. It was.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
There's
this
some
is
really
Those are
funny.
the
RR,
spookiest places, Phil,
You fucking
where
muppet, you're never
intelligence
going to learn, are you?
agencies
Mafia,
and
Vatican
Satanists and mob
terrorists.
figures hang out together.
Intervention, Todd. Intervention.
Sorry.
I'm hollering at this muppet real quick. Have you
Retarded
not been paying
rapists
attention to any
is speaking
aspect
in
of the
attack.
show? Mafia, Vatican terrorists. That's all we've been fucking talking about, you muppet. Learn something.
Like,
But, I mean,
Open up your nose hole, open up your mouth hole, get some oxygen in there, help the brain hole out a bit.
I mean, let's be honest. If we go back to the fucking the Dominican and the Cathars, when the guy said, "Hey, kill all the Catholics because God will sort them out," and then fucking this idiot in the fucking chat's like, "Oh, Catholic's a good thing." I mean, you literally have fucking
the
Pope
Dominicans
murdering his own
were
people.
responsible for mass homicides of all sorts of women and children, were they?
Yeah, no, not at all. No, those are good quality monks. I mean,
Yeah, the
Dominic de
Jesuits.
Guzman was not a fucking psychopath terrorist. Just
The
one
Jesuits didn't do
name.
nothing wrong.
And yes, I was raised Catholic. I'm also confirmed. So guess what? According to the Catholic religion, I can do whatever the fuck I want, including rape a bunch of kids like a priest. But as long as I get my last rites, I'm going straight to heaven.
Like in the movie Exorcist.
So was this I'm familiar with this murder. Was this a mob-related murder? This of the Lindbrook girl?
No, that was one
Father.
where I think it was like 2 or 3 guys who were convicted of it, and then they
Kogut.
said they found exonerating.
Kogut's a weird last name.
Hot Skates roller rink. I mean, I went there for like a couple of birthday parties. It was a nice, when I went there, nice place or whatnot. But yeah, Teresa Fusco, I believe, had worked there, and on her way home, she disappeared, and they found her, I think, out in the woods. Like not that far from there, but I think there was like a certain amount of time. I mean, again, like everyone thinks like, oh,
And that was Ultimate Evil, right? That was in the Ultimate Evil.
It was like one of the last murders mentioned in the timeline. I think it was like in the insert, like in the cover of the book. And I mean, people think, oh, Gilgo Beach with Rex Heuermann, and you just had him. He played to 7, 8 murders. And again,
I don't buy any of it.
Closed,
But,
no, there's just too much weird shit going on, and it still doesn't address what happened to Shannon Gilbert, the first person whose disappearance.
Right.
And Ronnie DeFeo. They'll keep saying his that whole case is
Who is the son of Sam? Who is the son of Sam?
Well,
Killer?
That was David Bergman.
Ronnie
DeFeo was Amityville Horror, and his uncle
yeah.
was mobbed up. His uncle and his grandfather were made men, weren't they not?
Yeah.
Who took the fall for son of Sam?
Berkowitz.
Well, intervention.
Berkowitz.
So DeFeo,
Berkowitz
that's what I'm saying, like,
said-
the whole area of Long Island, you can't really mix the hood rat shit, the mob stuff, like in the cult stuff, because the DeFeos are all mobbed up. That's
Yeah,
Amityville
I mean,
stuff.
so he was. So Amityville is kind of like on the border of the counties, Nassau and Suffolk County. The story is that Rodney DeFeo was all mixed up by drugs, and then he came home one night and murdered the entire family, his parents, and I believe he had 3 to 4 siblings. I can't remember the exact number. And yeah, the where they lived, I think it was like 112 North Ocean Avenue, and the sign on the property was High Hopes. That was like the one thing. Which,
and his uncle was a capo in the Genoveses.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. There's
what were you saying?
Weird
go ahead, sir.
But I'm sure it was demons, Phil.
Well, it might have been demons, you know what I mean?
Nothing to do with the mafia.
So within a
No, I'm
couple
just
years,
the mafia demons is what we're talking about, right?
demons.
The family that moves in right after, saying they're in and out in less than a month. The Lutz family, George and Kathy Lutz, and they have a kid, and then they make a movie with James Brolin and Margot Kidder, and years later it's Ryan Reynolds.
The couple that goes and exercises places that Warren's.
Well, one of the things I found most interesting about this was the intersection with the Son of Sam stuff. So you get Peter DeFeo joining the Genoveses, and Genoveses own a number of the clubs associated with the Son of Sam crimes.
Yep. Well, and it's funny, I just saw Tommy Eberle, and Tommy Eberle is his brother-in-law, Al Lettieri, played Virgil Sollozzo in The Godfather.
Oh, no shit.
There you go.
Well, there we go.
That's sort of like interlocking connections and whatnot. But yeah, the mafia owned pardon the language, shit ton of clubs, not just in the city, but on Long Island. I think I mentioned before in regards to Paul Vario, Paulie Cicero in Goodfellas. One of the guys he was connected to, a guy named Philly Basile, owned clubs in Island Park, Long Island. And when Philly Basile felt that they were a little bit too competitive, he wanted them burnt down, which led to Henry Hill burning down the OBI West in Island Park. And the OBI,
it sounds like you're saying that the mob is just a subsidiary of Immobiliare.
I mean, it basically is, in my opinion. I mean, they operate almost exclusively together.
Yeah.
Can I answer question that just came up about Murder Machine?
Yeah, we did a whole episode on that. Go back. It's the Roy DeMeo one. It's got me, Phil, JJ. Was there anyone else? Landon was there too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you and Phil and JJ on Fridays.
That's not this
Friday, but
is that the next
Friday's
Friday?
Dana Duda.
Oh man, that's gonna be 10 times better.
I'm
than
available if you need me,
no,
but I wasn't informed. I mean, Todd's over here fucking on DMP, just creating JJ's schedule.
I'm telling JJ who to bring on next Friday.
Murder Machine is a good book. I like Jerry Capisi, but do I trust everything he says is dogma, gospel? No. I think it's a good entry. I think Roy DeMeo was probably more prolific than even Capisi speculated on.
But Jug, you need to actually go and watch. We did a whole breakdown on Roy DeMeo back in December, maybe. You know what? Fuck it. I'll look
November,
it up.
something like that.
I'll look it up while fucking JJ and Phil run their mouth.
Well,
the
thing that interests me the most about DeMeo is
what's
the
going on,
crossover
Jug?
with
How are
the
you?
Son of Sam case.
How are you, Jug?
So in the Son of Sam case, you get a couple crossovers with DeMeo's crew. Mikey Muscles is one of his members. They kill a fellow by the name of Mikey Muscles, right? The DeMeo crew does. He has some crossover with the pornography and kid diddling around the Son of Sam situations. And then we also get with DeMeo looks exactly like one of the Son of Sam sketches. The same year he becomes a made man.
Yeah. Well, so here's another thing to it. So, and again, now it's making me think differently, even though I did have questions. So, the Richard Kuklinski connection. So, we talk about the fact that James Franco kind of co-opted Maury Terry's research with the Deuce, right? With the making of the Deuce. And
you gotta take a shit. What?
Franco's in the Iceman movie. He plays
I
like
didn't know
the
that.
victim of Richard
James
Kuklinski,
Franco.
and in terms of Kuklinski's connections to Roy DeMeo, Capisi says, he might have bought a gun from the Gemini Lounge crew at Canarsie, but kind of discounts any further involvement with them. Kuklinski, they'll attribute 6 murders. He said he killed maybe 100, maybe more. There's at least two biographies on him. One by a guy named Anthony Bruno, and the other one is Philip Carlo, who wrote the book, I believe, about Tommy Karate. And Kuklinski said he was involved in the Jimmy Hoffa murder, but what happened was when he called out Sammy Gravano for being involved in a murder of a guy named Peter Calabro, who was a cop, and Capisi says that it was DeMeo's crew that was involved. You kind of had that sort of discrepancy, but not that long after Kuklinski says that, he's dead. He's dropped. Like, it's a very rapid, almost conspiracy death. Like, he dies, loses over 100 pounds. They can't really ascribe how he died. It's just very sudden, kind of like Charles Bloodhorn, sudden, but slow motion, weirdness to it. I don't think Kuklinski was like Henry Lee Lucas at tribute. I think they're both bullshit in terms of how many they killed.
Wait. Can we just call him Kuklinski though? And then you get Kyle Kuklinski. You get Kyle Kuklinski, who's married to Kristen Ball.
Okay.
How about one of his victims?
I mean,
Robert
can I just say that it seems a little fucking tangential.
Dude, what are these names, dude? Prawn Gay, who told him to freeze the body of Mass Gay, dude?
Well,
where do these fucking names come from, dude?
Prawn Gay drove a Mr. Softy. Prawn Gay.
Come on.
In the movie with what's his name, Michael Shannon, Robert Prawn Gay is played by Chris Evans.
Prawn Gay, like porn. When you want to say porn
America.
Online, you gotta say prawn. So it's gay porn. Literally, the name is gay porn. Prawn Gay. Gay porn. Get the fuck
good old
out
gay
here.
porn and his buddy Mass Gay, dude.
I mean, what?
Mas gay. Mucho gay. Mucho mas gay.
He experimented, they said, he poisoned a couple of the guys. He put cyanide in the guys' hamburgers and stuff. He went.
So there is a
to
burger element to all this, a cyanide burger.
Yeah, some diabolical shit. Yeah, I think it was.
If it's on Twitter, there's an Asperger element to it.
A couple of guys he poisoned that were associates, and supposedly Dominic Proliferone, I forget if that was the name of the agent or his alias, an ATF agent he was buying or procuring weapons from, he was planning on taking out that way. And then right after they had their last meeting, the ATF, it was like a task force in New Jersey, took him down. And they said it took 6 guys to bring him down.
Do you remember the name of Nino Gadget's nephew, Dominic
Montiglia?
That's it. Fuck yes. I've been trying to think of that for fucking the last 20 minutes.
Oh, one of my favorite stories with him is when he talks about, because it kind of reminds me of Jim Angleton from the CIA. Dominic was like, yeah, every now and then I have a nightmare when he was like, I see Roy and Chris, and he talks about the guys. A couple of the Gemini twins got released from jail. One just passed. Because it was Anthony Santerre and Joey Testa. One of them just died. He's like, Dominic, come to hell with us.
And then, man, I think Dominic was way fucking dirtier than he let on. I think there's so much
that he probably was involved in at least a murder or two. I mean, I don't think he framed his uncle Nino. I think Nino was dirty as shit, but I think Dominic,
and Nino always was,
Yeah, I think Dominic held back, and I think the prosecutors probably held back.
Is this real?
I mean,
was he Phoenix program?
Yeah,
Well,
he was a ranger, and he got
Well,
stuck on
there's
the
a-
fucking hill, bro. There's a
No
whole story
shit.
about him. He was a recon ranger who was stuck at the top of the fucking hill while like his entire platoon got fucking murked around him, and he's the only one that
No
came
shit.
down.
They said that's why him and Mickey Featherstone from the
Yes, and then
Westies bonded.
Featherstone's
Yeah,
related
yep.
to the Spillane.
Yeah, I know Mickey Featherstone's background. I'm familiar
Yeah,
with
and he's
that.
related
the Irish
to
Westies
he's
there for
related
sure.
or not related, but he's tied to the Mickey Spillane, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Mickey
Yeah, he was-
Spillane, I mentioned to
They were the
I think
opposing
I
factions,
mentioned
right?
this to JJ. Yeah, that when Joe Coffey, who was on the Omega Task Force,
Paul Coffey,
yeah, for all I could be right. All I know is
NHL player. No, Paul Coffey's the NHL player.
I know, but Joe Coffey, I saw
Yeah, I know.
this guy. He was at the we call it the Irish Day Festival in Long Beach. He popped up, tall motherfucker. Because both times I'm like, I remember seeing
How
him on
tall
TV.
was he?
He was taller than me, and I was
How tall was
6'4".
he?
I mean, he was a tall guy, but
He is a
when
Nephilim.
he got a call, and he thought it was Son of Sam, and it was Mickey Spillane hit. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's that
the
sort of
Westies,
like,
they were
you know,
kind of
your
used by,
strategy.
like, in this warfare, right? They used, was it the Genoveses, was it? Or was it the, who was it?
They were, so
Benny the Chin?
Spillane's group was kidnapping, they were kidnapping members of the Genovese family. And
Okay, yep.
so at a point, you had that going on, but then later on, now that's one of the reasons why they attribute the kidnapping and killing of Carlo Gambino's nephew, Manny, to the Westies, even though the only aspect is the guy who got blamed, James McBratney, was Irish. And later on, they said McBratney was just kind of like a scapegoat. It wasn't him. But Jimmy Coonan and Mickey Featherstone, who'd kind of become the Westies, would become like the true Westies. Excuse me. They were more connected to the Gambinos. And what happened was, in the late 70s, they had killed a guy named Charles Ruby Stein, who was, I believe,
Jack Ruby.
No. I mean,
I know. I'm
is-
just,
is-
you know, these things always tie together, right? They
No
always have
relation whatsoever. No
They
relation
do
whatsoever.
kind of together because look right there, Mickey Spillane, the character in James Franco's The Deuce about the Son of Sam, process church gay and S&M scene.
Hey, I don't need to be
Well,
hearing
what
about you need to
happened
take a shit, Deuce.
But Ruby Stein was a loan shark, and what happened was his book was valuable. Like obviously the book of clients. And when Featherstone and Coonan get called for a meeting with Paul Castellano, I believe it was at Tommaso's, which was like a notorious like mob run hangout, there was a possibility they weren't walking out of the meeting, which led to Coonan and Featherstone telling the rest of the crew, if we don't come out, we want you to go in blasting. Well, the crew got coked up. They passed out. They deny that they have
No, that's a fucking lie. You do not pass out on cocaine unless you're like an obese bitch. So, I mean, they might be doing some other shit. They might be doing some
They
other
ran
shit.
out of
I've done enough
cocaine.
cocaine.
They ran out of cocaine.
I've done enough cocaine in my life
Like
that you
Hunter.
don't go to sleep on it.
They ran out and passed out.
They were not outside Tommaso's loaded to bear. They were
Total lie, yeah.
There's a hole in that story.
They did not pass out on a ball of cocaine.
Okay.
I passed out after I did that whole ball of cocaine.
Phil, you may not be a drug addict, or you may not have experience with drugs like I do. I'm just saying that's a huge hole in that fucking story for anyone who's ever done cocaine.
After I smoked that ball of
They
cocaine, I decided to go to
doing
sleep.
cocaine. They were addicted to crack. That's what Hunter Biden will tell you.
You ain't going to sleep on that shit either, bro. Like, you're fucking
They were
smoking
doing
opium.
cocaine, and they were playing Parcheesi back in Hell's Kitchen, but they were not outside the restaurant where they needed to be. And what happened was Coonan and Featherstone decided that they would kind of partner up with the Gambinos, but more so out of Coonan's decision. Because later on, that led to friction between Coonan and Featherstone. And
Because they can be made men, but they're like trusted associates, right? Of the like they're being utilized within the because the west side of Manhattan was being commercialized at that time, right? Went from the meatpacking district to like some corporate shit.
It became, they called it Clinton. They didn't even call it the Hell's Kitchen anymore. They called it Clinton. Kind of became gentrified, yeah. And
Sounds like a great name for the place.
And I mean, I've seen it, and I'm like, I remember seeing the sign, and I said to my brother, I'm like, that's Hell's Kitchen. What are we talking about?
Keep driving, don't stop.
You know, I prefer the history of like the movie Sleepers, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, Italians, Irish live together. Why do we want to make it like goofy? But Coonan kind of became like, oh, he's a wannabe Italian, and then that kind of seeded destruction for the gang, because you know Coonan it was kind of like a loss of the independence in that way. Mickey Featherstone was always a little bit tweaked, but not in the way that Coonan was on a power trip. And you know, in the end, they wind up framing Featherstone for a murder he didn't commit. That was in and around, I think it was the Javits Center. They framed him for a murder of a guy named Michael Holley. And Featherstone wasn't even there. And then later on, part of his deal with the feds was, I'll give you what you want to know, but you got to get me clear of this murder. You got, you know, I didn't do this. So
wait.
it kind of, you know,
I'll just talk about like the old days. Can I just point out, I kind of wish I was a fucking geriatric like Todd, because I really wish I would have been able to do some bennies back in the day.
I think I was 9 years old when I did my first Benny.
Up in there?
Yeah, the benzos though, the bennies, like Benjadine.
They were black. They were black too in 1975.
No. I'm bringing that up because wasn't Featherstone big into the benzos? I think he was.
I mean,
they were definitely drug addicts. Yeah.
I think he was big into the benzos though, and every time I read about the benzos back in the day, like the fucking pharmaceutical uppers, I'm like, fuck, when do I get my hands on some of this shit? But I know they're off the market.
Yeah, you missed out on that.
Old like Todd.
Same with the
Fantastic courage to live. Yeah, everywhere. Like no one cared if you used them either.
Yeah, your parents would give them. Yeah, I mean, these days they give them fucking Ritalin and fucking Adderall, but I mean.
We talk about the drug war often on this program, and it really it ties into history a lot because Nixon introduced the drug war. Drugs become more expensive when they're illegal. This is something that people look at these subjects.
Illegal, dude. And they're way worse than most of these ones we're discussing right now.
Nixon did not introduce the drug war. It was
Al Pacino. It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new.
I think I'm going to throw up some Dunkachino.
No. I wanted to point out that it was the Rockefeller Foundation.
I never want to see Al Pacino's face ever again.
The Rockefeller Foundation and the League of Nations that signed the first international narcotics treaty in 1928, and that's when fucking drugs became illegal. Now, if you go to BC and here in Canada, they're all completely decriminalized. You can get pretty much anything you want. But
if I'm elected in 2028, sir, I will decriminalize all Dunkachinos and Dunkachinos for everybody.
No.
Wow. Al Pacino. It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new.
Don't mind if I do.
No
it's not Al anymore. It's Dunkachino.
Play that commercial like Guantanamo. Torture the prisoners.
Let's be honest. Wait. If we go back to that clip, let's be honest. That girl in the fucking tiny little shorts and the fucking. Hey, wait.
Al Pacino. It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new.
Oh, no more. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Wait.
I'll give you the name of the guy.
Wait, am I the only one? Am I the only one that's convinced that girl with the red fucking sweater vest is completely casting couch material? The only reason she's in that scene.
The fellow's name was behind Oliver North there.
Tell me she is not.
That guy was probably got a microphone going.
Oh shit, dude! He should have been on Miami Vice opposite Don Johnson is on. So.
I'm telling you, it looks like a movie.
What was more embarrassing, him doing Dunkachino or the 2 seasons of Hunters on Amazon?
Yeah. So I couldn't look at that. I couldn't watch it.
Scarface in that bitch.
I never even seen it, so I'm bad to comment on it. But I'm like, I ain't even coming close to this.
Wait, I do have to give a shout out. That scumbag that I can't stand our channel finally said something I'll agree with.
I give credit where credit's due. Pacino and De Niro do suck. They suck Dunkachinos.
Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. No, thank you.
Year, so we got another fucking. We got another.
Go hang out with Jonah.
For him to get a second one in.
I can't wait for the Dunkachino sequel. Well, I want to thank you folks for joining us here tonight. OpGCD. I want to thank all of you for coming here as well. Any class closing statements from Clint or the good doctor over there? We haven't heard much from other one of you gents, or perhaps your overdose on Dunkachinos.
Dr. Inferno.
Well, thanks for bringing me on, JJ. As appreciated as always.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your insight. You remain with a lot of knowledge on these Gladio cell operations, and you left me with a few new tabs.
One last closing comment I want to make about the Godfather 3 and the Godfather series is basically about Italians becoming Anglos. That's pretty much what the series is about. They're assimilating into America. And I'm going to say this also, one last thing, since I couldn't get this in, is that I find it interesting. The use of the spider web and also the use of the puppet strings kind of illustrate precisely about the mafia, and like you're sort of caught stuck in a web, and you're bound by your oath, and you cannot get out of it. And the only way
when he opens the door, there's a spider web on the fancy front door of his house.
Let him finish.
Yes. That's what I was referring to. The spider web, so it catches people in. And one thing that's interesting also throughout the movie is the use of marionettes. And the puppet show, because it's the Italian tradition, and you notice that they're talking about betrayal in the movie as well. Also, he says throughout the movie about how, I move further up in the ranks of like legitimacy, but I learned that there's bigger criminals and there's more dirtier people as I climb and ascend. Basically, the whole entire legitimate.
I did pick up on that line. That was a good line, right? Like he's saying that more legitimate he gets, the more he realizes everybody else is dirtier than him.
So this movie is not a quote unquote masterpiece, but I think if you were able to decode a lot of the parapolitical stuff and understand, and it checks out with Gladio, it checks out with the whole Calvi affair, and it's a good bookend to the Godfather. They could have went out probably a little better, but you know what you're looking for in the movie. I rarely complain about movies if they have some subtext to them.
I mean, it would have been a lot.
You're right on that. You're right on that, Dr. Inferno. But it downplays or waters down for the average person that does. Why should I care about the mafia being with the church? The average person doesn't even realize what the connection, why that's even impactful, even though they put a movie out about it. You know what I'm saying? Only nerds that follow conspiracy theory.
By pretending like you're releasing all the secrets like that.
Yeah, only nerds that follow conspiracy theory would even pick up on this crap.
How dare you, sir?
Who cares what normies
You call me a nerd? Ever call me a nerd, sir?
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
How dare you,
sir?
I mean,
if anyone's going to call you a nerd, it better be another Mormon.
Todd's going to call you a nerd and stuff you in a locker.
We're playing
no. I stick up for those guys that get stuck in the locker. Actually,
I got lasers for you, sir. I got lasers for you.
Todd kind of looks like
Clint, do you have any closing statements here before we call her in, sir?
Clint,
is this thing on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You on assignment?
Just following YouTube, me and Todd and Jonah and our shenanigans. I always forget to invite Bill.
Phil, you need to get over. Phil, you need to come over to Clint's show for an evening. Just please educate us.
Yeah.
Clint's show is nice and relaxing, long form.
Yeah, on Saturday morning.
Friday grab a Dunkachino. Come on down, sir.
Wow!
Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new.
No.
P.S.
Enough of
That is going to be in my nightmares.
Don't be a communist. Leave a fucking like. Next week is the producers, Mel Brooks.
Yes,
this Friday,
Dr. Inferno, go over to Clint's show.
Dana Doodah and
Come on,
fucking
Clint's
JJ,
show.
but for Todd, it's me and
I'll go
JJ.
on. But
Yeah, get over on
I
there.
just want to say,
All right.
I
Well,
want to set
I thank all of y'all for joining us to get a little GCD folks.
Hey, wait,
Thank all
Doctor,
you
say
guys for
something.
your insight.
Thank you, JJ.
Reviews here, and until next time, till
Doctor,
tomorrow
say
night.
something.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Peace.
Ow.
Check your six. Stay vigilant, folks. Ted's down. They might have
Who's
got
your
the
daddy?
Well, that's it. That's the show here, folks. So the next time you're out on the town, visiting your local watering holes, or perhaps just meandering around, and you hear the unmistakable sounds of metal clanking, and you spot signs of a disturbance, well, check your six. Look in that garbage can, because you never can tell. The GCDs may be loose in your town.